I have a lot of friends who are sober, a lot of friends who are straight edge, a lot of my friends who are going through it. I know struggling with substance abuse and alcoholism can be really, really hard, especially knowing who to turn to. It can be really, really daunting. I'm here to say that a good friend of mine and his friend started this incredible treatment center called Removery. They gave me a phone number, 855-516-3332. You can text, you can call them. It's totally confidential. It's safe. There'll be somebody on the other line to help you out, a compassionate human being to talk to help you navigate the process, the insurance treatments. They accept most of private insurances. You can go refinerecovery.com, Refine Recovery Instagram. I know it's hard, but reach out to somebody, man. People care about you. People love you. People want you to be here for a long time. People love you in their lives. If you're going through it, make this phone call. It's totally private. I know people DM me all the time about going through it and going through sobriety and trying to get straight and trying to take care of themselves. And the struggle is totally real. And Refine Recovery is the definitely move. Reach out to them, 855-516-3332, or text them, 855-516-3332. You can call or text this number anytime, 855-516-3332. You know the drill. This number is here for you to call. As we get older, we start paying attention to what we put in our bodies. I personally have been listening to my body since I was 18 when I went vegan. I've always been focused on my health. It's super important, mental and physical health. But it's really important for people who are just starting to get more healthy and trying to step up their life. Doing your homework, reading the labels, researching and verifying everything that's quality. It's part of the game these days. That's why I started drinking AG1s. I'm so proud to have them sponsor my podcast. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that delivers daily nutrients and gut support and is backed by multiple research studies. You can trust what you're putting into your body. We're all so busy these days, so just throw a pack of AG1 in the morning into a cup of water and shake it up and drink it. I love the way it tastes. I do it every single morning. It's part of my routine. I bring the packets on tour. It's an incredible life changer for me. Many supplements only reference research from ingredients in their product, but I trust AG1 in my daily routine because it's constantly putting the formula to the test. It's backed by multiple research studies, and one of those research studies, AG1 was shown to have double the amount of healthy bacteria in the gut, which is super important because these help digestion in the immune system and the immune health. And these bacteria are known to help with digestion as well, gas and bloating, which I freaking need. And it also promotes regular bowel movements, what I can attest to. In another research study, 97% participants felt more energy after 30 days, and 91% of the participants noticed that they needed less coffee after 60 days. I quit coffee like 5 months ago. I know I'm good on that. But AG1 is packed with a variety of nutrient-dense ingredients and is the perfect complement to my healthy diet. I drink it because I know it's going to work, and it gives me a peace of mind covering all my nutrition bases for the day. In fact, I trust it so much, that's why I'm spreading the word about it. That's why it sponsors my podcast. Thanks to Angie Huberman for turning me on to AG1s, connecting me with them, and now they're part of my podcast. It's so easy and satisfying to start your day with AG1s. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of the vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your purchase at drinkag1.com/OLLC. That's drinkag1.com/OLLC. It's never been a better time to focus on your health and wellness and get back on track, man. Take control of your daily health. Health is wealth. Got to give a big shout out to Liquid Death. I've been in a band called H2O for 30 years, and my first real job with a company is a water brand. Go figure. Love you, Liquid Death. Love the people. Love the brand. Love the concept. Love what they give back. Love the community. Love what they do for the environment. You can go liquiddeath.com/OLLC and get free shipping on any of their merchandise that they make. They have such incredible collabs. Also, if you want to hear the story of the CEO, my good friend Mike Cesario, on the podcast, you can go to episode 115, part 1. And then 2 years later, we dropped a part 2, which is episode 275 with the CEO, Mike Cesario. Just a man from Delaware with a dream, worked at a marketing company, and made this become a reality. Liquid Death is an incredible company, incredible water, incredible people. And I'm super, super honored to be part of them. They sponsor my life. They sponsor everything, my family. So go liquiddeath.com/OLLC and get free shipping on anything you want to buy on that site. If you want to get water, it's exclusively on Amazon.com. Murder your thirst, y'all.
have to put on the headphones and have this big microphone.
Have you done in-person podcasts like this?
I have. I'm actually on I feel like I'm on a podcast tour right now.
Sick.
I had a list of 5 of them that people wanted me to do. And so I did one with Wheezy called Horrible Decisions recently.
Okay.
And then I did one for a rock thing called Rock in Flux with this woman from Arizona. And I just did that the other day. And then I feel like I did another one and I'm forgetting. Oh, and then I did mine. I did my horror podcast the other day.
Oh yeah, how's that going? How many? You have a lot of episodes out?
We have 17 episodes, but we don't monetize it. We don't make any money off of it, and we only have 600 subscribers. I don't think people really care.
Is it just on YouTube, or is it
Yeah, it's on YouTube
and
and
Apple,
it's live,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
live, and it's me and my friend who lives in North Hollywood, and then my friend who lives in Australia, and so we all
oh yeah, that's right.
Video, yeah.
Yeah, because you talked about the substance or something.
We did. That was our last one.
That movie's crazy.
It's so good. I saw it in Australia.
It's so amazing, man. Shout out to Demi Moore. That was
It's so good. It's one of my favorite films.
It's really interesting. It's super original. That was really, really good.
Super original, and there's a lot of discussion to be had with the meaning behind things, and there were so many homages to other horror films. And it's just so artistically shot. But there's a lot of conversation in there about societal beauty standards.
Yes.
Ageism.
Yes.
Plastic surgery, self-hatred. There's so much in there that it's fantastic.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is.
I hope people have seen this movie. It's a really, really great movie. You can rent it now on TV. I saw it in the theaters. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Let's introduce you. Welcome to the One Life with Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have the legend in my kitchen, Jenna Haze. Do I call you Jenna Haze, right?
Yeah, you can call me Jenna
Haze.
Haze.
I know your government name now because I did my research on you.
Oh, really?
Of course. So me and you met in the Vegan Illuminati. I think we met at Don't Eat the Homies thing, probably.
No, we actually met. No. We met
at a porn awards.
We did. We did.
So me and my wife were invited by Joanna Angel to this. What's the award show called?
It was actually the XBiz award show because Joanna was hosting it, and I hadn't been to an award show since 2018. And she was like, "I'm hosting. Come, and it'll be fun, and everyone will be surprised to see you."
And they were.
Yeah. It was.
When you pulled up, it was like.
I know people were like, "What?"
Goddess was here, but you came to the table. We were sitting there. It was very uncomfortable, and me and my wife never been to something like that before.
Really?
Like fuck it, let's go. And we just and there was so many people come up to go, "Oh, I know your band. Oh,
that's awesome.
I'm in the industry. I'm in the band too. I'm in hardcore. I'm in punk." I was like, "Oh shit." A lot of people from that world, it's all connected, Wow.
Yeah, no, I remember you were wearing a Don't Eat the Homies shirt, and that's how I started talking to you because I said, "Oh, I love that brand," and then I ran into you at the Don't Eat the Homies party.
Correct.
And then we went on a hike together.
We're part of the big Illuminati now. There's so much to talk about.
I'm technically plant-based now.
That's all good.
I keep messing up, and
it's okay. We're not perfect humans.
It's the traveling. The traveling makes it really hard for me.
It does. You bring stuff like supplements and bars and nuts and shit like that, or
I do sometimes, but when you're going to a different country, they don't want you to bring in that stuff like nuts and things like that. So
depends what country though.
Not Australia.
Yeah, probably not there. But Germany and shit's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. And when I travel short trips and stuff like that, I do bring when I go to the conventions, I go to Creation and I stock up on their different bars and their vegan bars and things like that. Yeah.
You ever had the dried strawberries there?
I haven't, but I love that place.
Oh my god,
they have the best smoothies.
Yeah, they do.
$20 smoothies.
Not like the Air One smoothies, but yeah.
No, I've never had an Air One smoothie.
Me either.
So
I refuse to spend that much money on a smoothie.
Well, they're the same price pretty much.
They are?
Well,
it's just not the Hailey Bieber one.
The ones at Creation are literally the transform smoothies with all the stuff are $20.
Damn.
I know, but they're so good. It's like a breakfast.
What are your favorite spots? Do you you go to Gratitude at all, or?
I go to Gratitude sometimes, but I really
Crossroads.
stuck to. Crossroads is my
jam.
I could eat there every week, like twice a week, and I wouldn't get tired of it. It's because I honestly think it's reasonably priced.
Yeah.
It's really nice inside. The
really
service
nice.
is great. I know the bartender there. He always treats me very well.
Nice.
I like the food is always good, and because I like to order a bunch of things too.
Yeah.
And
the breakfast, lunch, and dinner is great.
It's oh my god. Okay, so I went there for brunch with my friend Barrett.
So
like a few months ago or something, and it was my first time going for a breakfast or brunch, and I had their bacon. Oh my god!
Oh yeah, the homemade bacon's really good. Oh my god!
It was it was life changing.
Is it tempeh or something?
I think it's mushroom.
Oh, that's crazy! I hate mushrooms, and I ate that shit.
I think it might be mushroom. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that.
Do you like mushrooms?
I love mushrooms, but I don't like certain ones. I don't like those. You know those little white skinny ones?
Those are weird looking.
I don't like those. They look like little alien.
They do.
I don't like them.
With a little sting on them?
But I like Baby Bella and like Portobello and like the normal white mushrooms. Like I like all of those.
Portobello is so big and gross. I know it's weird. I know it's good for me because I'm vegan. I should be eating that shit from the dirt, but it's just so creepy. I don't know why.
Really? Yeah, they're so good for you.
I know.
Mushrooms are delicious.
Are you a pretty healthy eater?
I am. I'm currently my diet's about 90% vegan.
Nice.
So I was fully vegan for like a year and a half, and then I went to Italy last summer.
And what kills you? Is it the cheese?
No, it's actually the eggs.
That's hard for a lot of people.
I really like eggs.
Yeah,
and I haven't felt like a tofu scramble's really good. Some, especially if you put like little like veggies and onions and stuff on it, it can be really good.
Yeah.
But I'm really not much of a chef.
You eat out a lot?
I eat out
Me
constantly.
too. It's so bad, man.
I know.
I did my taxes last year and saw how much money I spent at different restaurants.
I know.
And like, what do I have to show for it? Nothing. Our health, but...
I mean, yeah, and for me, it's convenience. It's ease. And when I was starting to go vegan, I went vegan by going on a meal delivery service, actually. And because I was working at a mental health care facility, and the pandemic was still kind of going on because it was about 3 years ago. I was like, how do I switch this? Because what happened was I got sick on like cheese soup from Panera. Got me like super like violently sick where I was in the hospital.
From Panera bread?
Oh yeah. And then I'm sorry. I know. And then I got sick off a pizza too, like a pepperoni and mushroom pizza.
Wow.
I got really sick, and then I was like, maybe I need to make a change. And I, had friends who were vegan, and I was like, let me try this. So I went on this meal delivery service that was vegan. It's
called Green something?
No, it's called Sakara.
Sick. Okay.
And it's it's very high and it's very expensive. It's like for 5 days of meals, it's like $500.
Oh, it's the Air One of meal plans. Probably.
Kind of, but it's so good.
Yeah.
And it was a really easy way for me to transition into not eating, because I didn't have to think about anything. If I ever start making like a ton of money again,
I'm going to
go back.
I love how your head's so little in the earphones. It's too big for you.
They always fall off. The ones that they give me on the airplane don't fit me too. Like they just don't fit.
Are you lactose intolerant?
I'm not. I'm not a big dairy person.
Yeah.
It's
so rough for you. Yeah.
It's not. Cheese really isn't. Like I'll eat a cheese. The one thing I do is an egg and cheese sandwich. That's my like one weakness. I do love an egg and cheese sandwich, and I eat that about twice a month.
So it was for health reasons, not for the animals. Then it became for the animals.
No, well, yeah. At first, it was for health reasons. Yeah. Then I went and started grad school classes, and I really started studying ethics. And I've been reading philosophy for years here and there. And so I was like, and I started to think, I came across the word speciesism. Yeah. And then I was like, what is the difference, between a cow and my dog? There's really nothing that different. And then I started to think, more woo woo, I guess, and being like, what, like, how do I have the right to take the life of an animal just because I want to eat it? Like, we're at a place now in society where we don't have to eat meat.
Yeah, so many alternatives.
Or we can severely limit our meat intake. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So why engage in that suffering? And then I came across something that talked about how like the animals suffer so much that you're actually like eating their fear in their flesh.
Yeah. So
do you know what I mean? Like, and then I started to think about that, and then I was like, oh. And that made me sick because I started thinking I'm putting that into my body, and like how sad that's so tragic what they go through, and their experience of life is not amazing at all.
They're not killed peacefully.
No, it's the videos. Once I started watching the videos and the documentaries, and then I was like, oh my God, I'll never go back.
I know, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I can't ever see myself eating like a cow or a pig or anything like that. Fish, I did eat fish a few times this year.
Then you watched Seaspiracy?
I did watch Seaspiracy, and I'm very picky about like the fish that I ate. I was in Hawaii. It was fresh local fish. It was because I was in Hawaii for 2 weeks, and after the first week, I ate all the vegan options, and I was on a very remote island in Hawaii, and I was at an exclusive resort, and the menu was limited, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna try a fish, and the first time I had it, it was really good, and I actually almost cried because it tasted so good, but then I felt bad.
Damn.
And then I ate it again, and it was less good, and then it was like I had the third time, and it was less good, and then I was like, I don't think I want to eat this anymore. And then I've had it 2 times since I've been back from Hawaii. I've had fish twice. Once because I was traveling. I was in New Jersey, and there wasn't a lot of options at the restaurant that I was at.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fish and eggs for me more than anything. But the thing is, we live in America, and they put cheese in everything.
They do.
And it's hard to find good vegan cheese places, like good vegan cheese pizza.
It's hard. Some of the cheese is really rough. It's like kind of rubbery and shit and weird.
It gets weird.
The diet cheese, there's some other ones like cashew cheese is okay. Yeah. Crossroads pizza is incredible.
I've actually never had it. I've been there so many times and I've never ordered their pizza because I like so much of their other stuff.
How about Pure Vita? You been in Pure Vita?
I have. It's good.
My son works there. It's so good.
I didn't care for their wines, the wines that I had there, but I might have just been an off night. I might have picked some, not so great places, but I've been there twice. The first time I really liked it. The second time I was like, So
yeah, you're a Crossroads snob.
I am. It's my favorite. But I was also a Nick's snob too.
Oh yeah, and my son worked there too. That's crazy.
Nick's was my favorite.
That's right.
It was Crossroads, Nick's, and Plant Food and Wine.
Yeah.
And now it's like Crossroads and Planta are the two that I go to.
I need to go to
constantly.
Planta. I heard it's incredible.
Yeah, I just went there the other night to the one in Marina Del Rey.
You remember Taco Vega?
No, I've never been there.
That was the chef spot. It was on Fairfax. The chef who became the chef at Nick's. My son worked there too. It was like amazing. Mexican vegan was so good. How about Real Food Daily? You know that spot?
I think I've been there once.
It's like the OG spot.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's cool. You become like vegan and you get into this whole other world, which you've been connected to anyway through like punk rock and music and people that you knew. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Yeah. But now I'm like you said, I'm part of the little Illuminati influencer thing. When I started getting invited to vegan events, that's when I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I haven't been invited to one for a long time because when I was in grad school, I was so stressed out that I unfollowed everybody on my Instagram because I was like, I can't. I was like, it's too much. It's too tempting. And I was like, I just need to unfollow everyone until I finish this degree.
That's amazing.
And so now I'm slowly following people back. But I think some people are like, because I noticed some people unfollowed me because I unfollowed them. And I'm like, it wasn't personal.
Are you on social media a lot?
I am. It's actually something that I realized this morning. I was like, I need to work on and like start because it's becoming too much.
It's a necessary evil though.
It is for my career and stuff.
Same with me. Same.
It sucks.
It sucks. Like if we had nothing to promote, I really wouldn't be on there,
Yeah.
It connects a lot of people too in a positive way, but there's so much negative shit on there, dude. It's just too much. Dude.
It is.
Do you get DMs a lot? I'm sure you get fucking so many DMs.
Yeah, but I don't really respond to most of them.
You probably get weird ones too and creepy ones and silly ones.
I do.
And you don't
some guy called me my real name, and so I blocked him because I have a hard rule about that. If you publicly post my real name or like in a message to me or in a DM or anything, I think it's super creepy because it means like you went online and you like were like looking up what's my real name. Like it's just creepy.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad I didn't say your real name on here.
Yeah.
Good.
So I mean it's not that crazy, but. Yeah, so I feel kind of violated when someone like messages me on my like Jenna Haze page and they're like, oh, like because it's like they're trying to like be like, oh, I know you, like I know like
you
some
know shit
like,
about me, dude.
Yeah, and it's creepy. So I have an automatic like hard block, and so I block somebody.
Hard block.
I have a hard block on that, so I block someone, and then he emailed me like on my fan email, and then he was like harassing me, and I was for blocking him, and I was like. Okay.
Do you respond to him?
Stuff. I didn't respond to him again.
Blocking's so fucking fun.
It's great. I know, but the problem with blocking though is that people that you block, like trolls and stuff, when you block them, they get all ha ha ha. I got them to block me, and then they think that they
won.
And you're like, no, you didn't win,
because it got your attention. All they want is your attention anyway.
Exactly. And so like sometimes it's better to mute.
Yeah.
Than block, but then they have access to your stuff still. So
weird.
And
what about negative comments?
Terrible.
Do you respond to people?
I usually just delete it and block them.
Or let that bother you?
But I have there has been times when I've gotten into like mostly on Reddit. So I deleted my Reddit account.
I've never been to Reddit once. I heard it's a negative fucking cesspool.
God.
I'll
yeah,
never
because
go there.
There were people saying some like mean stuff about me, and there were some guys saying that they had hired me to like for like escorting, and I was like, I've never done that before, and I got mad because I was like, you're sullying my name, like you're like on a public thing talking about how you like paid me for sex, and you never that did not happen.
And then you want to respond, but you can't. Once you respond, it's over, dude. Because then they win.
I know.
Did you respond?
I did, and then I got in an argument.
What? As you were you on your real name and everything?
No, not my real name.
Okay.
No.
Damn, girl, you need to stay off that.
I
shit.
know. Well, I deleted my account on there because I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so now I have my new hard rule is like, I am not responding to any negativity. I actually am not even responding to comments as a whole, pretty much.
Smart.
I'll like certain ones that I think are like, clever or something. And I like all my friends' comments, of course, because they're my friends. And I'll respond to my friends. But I'm just like, nope. I'm not even engaging anymore with it.
Yeah, all that shit, online shit is so weird because it is just on your phone. Like this is real life. We're talking face to face. But everything that happens on there, that's the whole world on that thing. It's fucking crazy. They can't separate it, right? And nobody on that thing's ever going to come up to your face and say anything to your face.
No.
They're going to come and ask for a fucking photo. They're not going to say shit to you.
No.
It's weird. People that have all that time to like talk so much shit and be so negative. I don't understand it.
It's sad.
It's so fucking sad.
It's
man.
sad. Yeah, it's a sad existence,
but
right?
It's sad
like that's how they get their thrills.
But we're also we are creatives. We are artists. We're not normal society people, and we're sensitive. And it may come off that like we're tough.
I am sensitive.
Me too.
And that's the thing is like most of the time I try to not let it bother me, but at the same time I'm like, why do you have to be mean? Well, if you don't like me, you just don't have to say anything at all. You don't have to harass me.
Because people want to be heard. They have like everybody feels
no
like
reason.
I don't know what's the word. They're entitled to say anything they want now to anybody they want to with no repercussions and can just say shit all day to people, man. And
I report them sometimes if they're bad enough. I report them, and then Instagram and other social media platforms have actually like taken action against the accounts.
Yeah. So. But you know what? People talking about you, good or bad, they're talking about you. Like you're fucking taking up space in their head.
Well, 90% of the stuff, 99% of the stuff is positive. So it's just like once in a while you'll get like, you know, and the thing is like most of the time it doesn't bother me and it shouldn't bother most people. But like sometimes you don't know if that person's having a bad day. And then you say something horrible to them online and then it's like.
Yeah, you're
like,
fucking human.
Yeah.
But they don't see you as they see you as like a product or something. That's how people
it's like you're
people.
almost like public property kind
Totally.
of, you know, and it's once you become any kind of, I think, celebrity and especially I was just talking about this the other day, especially with music and adult films and stuff, people think like they have this special connection with you because music is so emotional. It connects to our soul so much. And sex is so primal and so, you know, intimate. And so with both of those things, people really think that they have like a connection with you. Yeah. And they like get
some of these people like probably have some sort of weird relationship with you watching all your stuff growing up or whatever they've seen you back then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and they see you as this like you said, like a product or a service or like an object type thing, and it detaches
crazy,
them.
man.
It detaches them from the reality of the humanity behind you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're working. This is your job.
Yeah,
you're a fucking person.
It's crazy, right?
It's so crazy.
It's crazy. So my new things, I got to try to stay off of it. But like because
you check your time on there, how many hours per day?
Oh my God, it's like 7 hours a day. It's terrible. Like it's awful. I need to, but because I run my entire career myself, I don't have a manager. I don't have employees. My sister works for me as an assistant, and she helps me pack up like my merchandise orders.
Super DIY.
And helps me like, keep my house in order and like do my filing and all the like. She just helps me like do odds and ends.
Nice.
But other than that, I don't have anybody. I don't have a manager. I don't have an agent. I run every social media platform myself. I run my merch store myself. I run my OF myself. I run, you know, I promote my Fleshlight products. I do all of this stuff, you know.
It's super punk rock, man.
It's a lot, but you know,
all your shit though. You own all your shit though.
I do, but it's a lot. It's a lot of it's a lot to do.
Yeah.
So that's why I give myself a little bit of slack for being on my phone so much because I'm like I'm actually working.
You are.
And then when I was in school too, then I was on it even more because I was emailing teachers and I was emailing like research group members, and that was like 12-hour days on my phone.
Crazy.
Between my phone and my laptop. Yeah.
I want to get to your life, but we were talking outside just about relationships and stuff and dating and being on apps and all that stuff. And I'm sure men are extremely intimidated by you, probably because of your profession, what your profession was. I know you're retired now. Is that something?
I mean, that's what. Yeah, I mean, yes, I guess people tell me that I intimidate men. Yes, I don't see that. I don't see how that could be possible because I'm like 95 pounds and like.
But because you're so strong and what you've done in your life and your career and as a powerful woman in this industry,
and I'm
you're
assertive,
boss, totally,
yeah.
And also what your job was. And then you're getting a relationship with something that's going to be intimate, like a real love relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend thing. It's not. So like that kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of intimidation.
And now there's another level because now I'm a psychotherapist. So now I worry that like the people that I date, like worry about me, like analyzing them, which I just started dating like a year ago again.
Yeah.
And I have noticed that like now that I am a therapist, I do analyze people's behaviors more, and I have to like, I'm now in the process of trying to train my brain to like not analyze this super close people to me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to interfere with our relationships, you know?
Yeah,
but
that's interesting.
But it's hard not to because now I'm trained.
You can
know,
read
and
people, that's crazy.
And so I'm like, wait a minute, like I see that you're acting in this like way that's detrimental to your life. And like, so I've called out people that I love a little bit and been like, hey, like, do you realize that like this is what you're, you know, doing? And it's not very well received sometimes.
You like just give them like
unsolicited psychotherapy. Yes.
Yeah.
I know. But like, I love some of these people I love so much and I want them to be the best version of themselves. So it's like, I'm learning how to like draw the line between like being helpful and being like, you know, a therapist with my loved ones, which is not my job with them.
Are you a hopeless romantic?
I am.
Have you had long relationships throughout your life?
I have. I had a 4-year relationship, then another 4-year relationship, then a 5-year relationship, then a 2-year relationship. Nice. Then another 2-year relationship.
When you were working too in that business?
Yeah. Most of the longest ones were actually when I was working.
That's got to be like a real kind of trust. Like know that, hey, I'm just going to work. I'm coming back. I'm with you. I'm in love with you. I don't give a fuck about these people. I'm working. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole thing must be so interesting. I performed. Because guys are insecure.
Well, I performed for 10 years.
Yeah.
And the first guy that I was with for 4 years was a cameraman, and he was contracted to be the cameraman for the company I was contracted to perform for.
Perfect.
So I stopped doing guys because I was like, this is really awkward. And so I just did women on camera because I was like, it was just awkward. He didn't feel comfortable, so they would have to get a different cameraman to come in and shoot me with a guy. And then
so you did that for him.
I did, but I did.
That's really nice. No, that's nice.
I loved him a lot.
That's amazing.
You know, and then him and I broke up. Yeah, and then him and I broke up, and I'm so young. Like it's fine if I could always go back to it, and that's what happened. We broke up, and then I went back to it, and then I started dating a guy who was a big director and producer in the industry.
Okay, so we could deal with it.
And well, yeah, we both worked on camera with other people. So, and I was actually with him for almost 5 years.
Yeah,
that was my longest relationship.
I'm thinking like civilians, like just normal dudes.
Well, so that's the thing. Now that I've been retired and I'm trying to date civilian dudes, it's been a little different.
Yeah,
it's been a little different.
Or they find out your past and what you used to do, or they expect.
I'm pretty upfront about it.
Yeah, or they expect you to be some certain way.
Yes,
they do. In the romantic world. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like once they realize that once they see that I'm human and they see like that I have like all these levels of feelings and all these like different things going on, and I have this past, I have my own trauma. I have like,
totally,
which by the way has nothing to do with the adult industry. It has to do with other stuff. But I hate when people assume like, oh, well, she has some kind of trauma in her past, so it must be the adult.
Yeah.
That's actually how I got into doing psychotherapy. But once they start seeing like the humanness behind you and seeing that I'm not just Jenna Haze. I'm also this other, that there's this other level to me. Then I think they kind of get like a little freaked out maybe, or they get like, because I think that first when they start to date me, they think, oh my God, I'm just going to be simply just this fun, wild, experience all the time.
All the time.
And it's like, that's not reality. You know, that's not like, I'm a human, like I go through my own things. I lost my mom 2 years ago. Like there's stuff, that goes on. I have my emotions,
Yeah, you're human. Yeah.
I'm a Pisces. I'm super sensitive and emotional. I cry at everything.
And you're not always working, always in that mental, like, especially if they've seen your work before and then somehow you meet them later on in life and they know it because they may have seen it back in the day. And then they're with you like, oh my God, what's it going to be? Because I've seen her do this. But it's like, no, dude, this is...
Yeah.
We're in love. This isn't some shit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's a performance too. My job was a performance. It was, it was fun, and I didn't I had a lot of amazing orgasms. It was a great job. But it was still a job. It's not reality.
Yeah.
It's much different to have sex with someone in an intimate, romantic setting that you care about, and have sex with a guy with a light between your legs, and there's like 25 people on set, and there's like two cameramen, and there's like a makeup artist on the side, and there's like a PA with baby wipes and like paper towels, and like
that's real. That's crazy.
It's harder to evoke that sort of intimacy or that connection during scenes. It is like a business. It's a fun business.
Yeah.
But it's like a business, and I think a lot of people don't realize that.
You never got nervous on set?
No, I never did. My very first scene.
Just saying that right now, the people in the room, the lights, it's like, holy shit. Might be more harder for the dudes, maybe. I don't know.
Well, the first thing I shot was very low key. It was very it was more gonzo. So it was just like one cameraman and like natural light. Okay. And it was me and supposed to be me and 2 guys. And I was supposed to do a double blow job. Am I allowed to say that on here?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I was supposed to do
uncensored.
I don't know. I'm used to doing like radio stations.
That was your
back
first
in the
kind of
day.
thing you had to do?
Yeah,
Holy
and
shit.
instead I got really excited and I was like, I want to have sex with both of you, and so I did.
Oh my God.
And then I only got paid for the original, like what I was supposed to do, because they were like, well, you just did that. That wasn't what you're like
You did extra for no reason.
I know, but I was so excited. But that actually worked in my benefit, because then people went around and started talking about me instantly.
How old were you then?
I was 19. It was 2001.
Crazy.
I know, right?
Okay, we're gonna rewind now. So, okay, obviously I know you quit school. You became a stripper.
For a day
or stripper, and you
one
met somebody
day.
there that was in this world, and right, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was working a bunch of low end jobs. And then my last job before I got into adult was working as a waitress at a pie shop, and yeah, I was trying to balance school because I was trying to go to junior college in Orange County, and I was trying to balance.
Were you born in Fullerton?
I was.
Okay.
And then I was trying to balance that with working 40 hours a week as a waitress.
Yeah.
And so, and I was taking 12 units, and I didn't have a car, and I was taking a bus back and forth. It was a nightmare.
Damn.
And I was like, this is like so difficult. And then I went one night with a girl that I was dating at the time, and we went to a 18 and over nightclub it served alcohol, but you had to get like a wristband or whatever. And so we went, and it was called the Boogie in Orange County. And we went there, and we happened to like meet a bunch of people. We went to like an after party, and one of the guys there knew Peter North, and he was like, hey, like you seem like you're really comfortable, because I was like dancing wild and like being very, flirty, and I was 19. I was very exploring my sexuality.
Did you know who Peter North was?
I did, because
he's like a legend.
I did, because at the time, right before that, I had my high school, like my boyfriend who was like, I was with for most of my high school years.
Yeah. And
he was a little bit older than me. And so he would go and rent us adult films and bring them back. And I would watch them when I was like 16, 17. I know that's terrible. But also the films were a lot different than they are now.
It wasn't online though. We'll talk about it later. But this is renting the videos. Yeah.
We would rent VHS.
Yeah. It's crazy.
My first movies were on VHS, which is crazy, right? I know. I have a box of them in my garage. I don't know what to do with.
You could probably sell those or something.
I don't know. They're kind of cool to have.
So that was your first time seeing
what
videos like that? I was with your boyfriend.
Yes, yes. And like, finding like random bags of like nudie magazines on the side of the road when me and my friends would like walk around town like late at night. We would found like that happened twice to me, where I just found like a bag of like nudie magazines
so
on
random.
the side of the road.
That's crazy.
It was like the universe was like,
it was a sign.
This is your future.
For real. Were you
foreshadowing?
Were you like active as a kid? Like were you like a quiet kid? Were you like a shy kid? Or
I was really into books and kind of nerdy. I did really well in school until I reached junior high, and then I went a little boy crazy, but also my family life kind of started to fall apart even more then. So like I think that both things happening, and I kind of got a little bit more wild and started smoking
parents
pot.
Divorced or something? No.
My parents divorced when I was 2.
Okay.
Actually.
You have siblings?
Yeah, I do. Wow. I have these are like, no one ever asked me these kind of questions during interviews. They always just ask me about my career. I do. I have 2 sisters and a brother.
Okay.
And I have 9 nieces and nephews.
Jesus.
And then I have 2 great I have a great niece and a great nephew on the way.
And
I guess it's great, right? I don't say grand, I say great. My nieces are having kids. Yeah. My nieces are having children. Okay.
And your siblings weren't into this world, correct?
No, not at all. I'm the baby of the family.
Okay.
And I went very different paths. My one sister's a nanny. My other sister does flowers for weddings.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's totally normal.
My brother works in like a factory or something, I think. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And were your parents strict?
No. My mom basically, I think because I was the last one, my mom was tired by the time she got to me. So I didn't really have rules or anything like that. Like I was pretty much given like free form.
What about like school grades and stuff? Were you strict about your grades and stuff?
No, I was allowed to miss as much school as I wanted.
She was out on the streets just hanging. Yeah.
She didn't care that much. As long as I kept my grades up, which I did. And then when I stopped, keeping my grades up, then like, I dropped out. I dropped out my sophomore year of high school, and I started working.
Like 15.
Yeah, I started working at a fast food place, partially to help her because we were having financial problems, and I was like, "This school stuff's pissing me off. I'm really not into it anymore." And I was worried about us being like living in motels or being on the streets.
Yeah.
So I started working and like giving her half the money that I made.
You're very sweet. That's very nice.
Thanks. And but then when I got into adults, when I was 19, I actually went back and got my GED.
Awesome.
So I was like,
So you cared about it.
I did. And then I wanted to go to college. That's kind of when I started in the industry. I was like, oh, my plan was just to like do some movies, get an apartment, get a house, get myself financially stable, go back to school, go to college, get a degree. And then my career took off. And like within the first like year, I was winning some of the biggest awards you could win.
It's crazy, man.
Like, first 2 years. And then I was like, I guess I should probably do this for a while and see where this goes.
So great. And you like a goody in school, like a teacher's pet, you said, kind of?
I kind of was, yeah. And I just always had my nose in a book.
It's amazing,
I was
man.
a nerd.
Yeah, and then from that to like what you did, yeah, it's crazy. And then like your first boyfriend was like, how old were you?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I was always kind of boy crazy in school too, but like it really, when I was in junior high, it kind of took off. And that's when I started like experimenting with sex and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you knew you're bisexual at a very young age.
Yes, I actually liked women before men.
Okay.
But now I like men more than women.
Okay.
So it fluctuates. Sex is sexuality is a spectrum, and it fluctuates throughout one's life.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. You knew exactly all that at such a young age.
Yeah, my mom was actually very sex positive.
Okay.
And so were my sisters.
Okay.
So I think that helped. My mom was always like raised us to be like, there's no shame around sex and things like that, which is interesting because she was raised Catholic. But I know, but she was very like, there's nothing weird about the human body. Like there's nothing to be ashamed of, like, which is nice.
Yeah. So you quit school.
Plus I grew up with Madonna on MTV.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Which is like...
Yeah, you saw 7 out of her 11 concerts or something.
I did. You saw my post.
I have a Madonna tattoo. I have crazy Madonna stories. I remember one of her books. We cover a song.
Oh my God, I love her so much.
It's my favorite. I went to 2 of the shows recently, yeah.
Yeah, if there wasn't a Madonna, there wouldn't have been a Jenna Haze, because like she showed me that like a woman could be a smart businesswoman. She could own her sexuality. She could be in charge of every decision that she made. She could be this artistic, creator while doing all of these other things, and inspiring women to be in charge of their sexuality and not be ashamed for wanting sex.
Absolutely. There'd be no Lady Gaga either.
What?
No Lady Gaga too without Madonna. Lady Gaga.
Well, yeah, I'm not a big Lady Gaga fan.
Okay.
I'm not.
But Madonna's the OG. And when I was watching the show, I was like, damn.
There wouldn't be any of these pop artists. I mean,
I know.
Madonna was like a groundbreaking. There were others before. There was like Cher, and there was like other, there was definitely other,
Pat Benatar maybe, or
Joan
icons.
Jett. Yeah. But Madonna really took it to a different level.
She did,
I think.
Man. The diversity.
Her shows are just also these huge productions, like. And she's just a badass.
Just a sex book. Everything she was singing about.
Oh, I have 2 sex books unopened.
I have one, but it's
from 1992.
Yeah, I have one of those. I have so many Madonna stories. I love Madonna so much. It was so great seeing her recently on this tour. I was like, dude, she's still killing it. Looks amazing.
I know. It was a great tour.
Fucking her legs are still like fucking, she's just killing it. Okay, so now you're out of school. You quit school.
I completed my 3rd degree this June.
Oh, not this school. Back then. We're going to get to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're still in your fucking, when you were a kid.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, I went and got my GED, and then I got into adult. And then my career took off.
Because you went to a strip club and met somebody there, though. You stripped for one day.
I stripped for one day. That was before I knew the guy who knew Peter North. Actually, I was still with my ex-boyfriend at that time, and I was...
What made you decide to strip?
I was curious. Me and my ex-boyfriend were pretty like interested in sex and watched movies and stuff together. And so...
Get inspired.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, maybe I should try it because, like, the low-end jobs kind of sucked, and I was just, like, really tired of being sexually harassed at these jobs and things like that anyways, and I was like, well, I'm just going to, like, try it, and I tried it for a day, and I hated it. As a house girl, I hated it. I danced my butt off. I was covered in bruises. I had to, like, solicit men for, because house girls...
Why were you covered in bruises?
Well, from dancing on the stage.
Damn, were you a good dancer?
I mean, I didn't know how to dance. I just kind of went up there and like did my thing in my Payless shoes.
Amazing. Amazing.
But I didn't make like any money, and I went home and I was just like, this is awful. And they asked me to come back the next day, and I said no. And so I didn't go back. And then months later, I met the guys who knew Peter North, and then got into adult. Yeah.
And that was it.
And I was like, well, maybe this is better for me. And then once I was in adult films for a while, I did feature dancing, which is stripping, but it's different than house dancing. You go around to these gentlemen's clubs, and you're the headliner, and so you tour and you go up, like, you do maybe 2 shows a night, and each show is like 20 minutes. You make tips on stage, you get paid for your performance, and then you afterwards you do merchandise selling and offer, like, dances if you do that. Some girls don't, some girls do.
Yeah.
And you make a ton of money. I mean, that was big money back in the day.
Damn.
I know.
Were your parents kind of freaking out about your direction back then?
My dad was a little weirded out by it at first, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
And my mom was at first she was pretty mad, but then she saw that I was like taking it seriously, and that I was making a lot of money and setting myself up for a life that I couldn't have had otherwise, probably. I mean, I was kind of stuck on the path of like working low end jobs and struggling like my whole life as far as like trying to like afford school and trying to, even afford a car or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think when she saw that I was, making a ton of money. And it doesn't hurt when family asks to borrow money. So you can't be like, you're like, this is sex money.
Yeah. And where does haze come from?
Marijuana.
Really? Just being hazy and shit? Because you were so high? What?
I started smoking a lot of weed in high school. And so also I was obsessed with Jimi Hendrix and the song Purple Haze.
Oh.
And then I also had read that book Lolita.
Okay.
And in it, the character's last name is Haze.
Perfect.
And so even though it's a very, now looking back, I'm like, wow, that's a really problematic book.
Oh, yeah.
But when I was a teenager, I was like, oh, this is some romance. And I'm like, no. Now I'm like, no, this is pedophilia.
It is fucked.
This is not cool.
It is fucked up.
But people romanticize that book. And it's kind of like, this is a really problematic book.
Damn, that's crazy. Did they cancel that book yet? I'm surprised that book hasn't been canceled.
I mean, I don't think any book should be like burned or like destroyed or anything like that. I think that all books are, are important. But yeah, so that's how I got the name Haze. Okay. Yeah. And I was the first adult film star named after cannabis. And now there's a bunch of them.
Crazy.
I know.
So 19, you do your first one. It's supposed to be just what you said you were going to do, and then end up being that. But your first film's like just with women, right?
No. I went right into like working with for like almost a year.
I thought it was women then men. Okay.
No, it was almost a year. I went right into doing everything. Like my second scene was like anal. Like I went like right into it.
And your first time ever doing that?
And then no.
Okay.
No, and
sorry.
And then like my first 2 weeks I did like a DP. Like I was just like, woo, let's do this. I didn't realize.
I don't know what that is, but tell the listeners.
A double penetration.
Okay.
Which is one in your.
Okay, we got it.
Okay,
we got it.
And then one in the boom boom. Sorry, I used to have to do radio stations where I would have.
But that's never happened before. That happened only the first time.
Yes, on camera.
So you did it on camera for the first time. That's fucking crazy.
I was never shy. I always liked it. It felt like I feel like
you like the attention.
I feel like I'm a born performer. I like putting on a show. I like, I like the camera there. I like creating this like sexual art that I'm putting out into the world that other people are going to enjoy.
You're comfortable in your sexuality and your skin.
Yeah, and it felt very natural to me. It never felt awkward. Not a single day on set.
Were you a popular kid in school?
No, I was bullied.
You were bullied?
I was bullied.
For what?
In high school, I got bullied because a lot of guys liked me, and I would hang out with a lot of guys and play video games and smoke pot, and so a lot of the girls would call me like a slut and call me things, even when I was a virgin before I'd even had sex. And I was like, just because I would like hang out with the guys and stuff a lot. So and then other guys would like me, and then like some girl would like that guy, and so then the girl would hate me because the guy liked me. And high school's awful.
It's horrible.
It's awful. Junior high and high school.
That sounds
terrible.
like a terrible movie.
It's
like Mean Girl shit. Yeah,
it is like that. So yeah, I was a little bit bullied, but
so you won like over 40 awards. Started killing it.
Yes, 40. I think 45 or 46 total.
Excuse me. 46.
It's okay. Some of them aren't listed on my Wikipedia.
So right from the jump, do you start making a living? Like, you quit everything, that's just you're doing.
Yeah, I was making $1,000 a day right away.
Damn, dude.
And going from making at the time minimum wage was $5.75 an hour.
It's fucking crazy.
So going from that to making literally $1,000 to $2,000 a day minimum was just like.
Where were you living at that time?
Me?
Because you're 19.
Yeah, I was living with my mom. Well, first I was living with my mom. Then before I met the guys that got me into porn, I was living with an ex-girlfriend actually and her family. And then her and I moved out to the valley when I got into the adult industry. She started driving me around because I didn't have a license.
Because that's where all stuff's filmed out there, right?
Yes, okay. And so in the San Fernando Valley. And so she started driving me around to my gigs, and I was paying her to drive me until I got, and then her and I broke up. And so, so then that didn't happen. Yeah. And then I got with a cameraman. So, and then I quit doing men on camera and just started doing girls for him.
Yeah, that's so nice. So that's the human side of you. That's the romantic side of you. That's the caring side of you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'll put that shit aside for a dude. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. One of the reasons I also retired, there's a myriad of reasons I retired, but one of the reasons was also because I got tired of having sex with people I wasn't in love with. And I'd been doing it for 10 years, and I was like, I just kind of want to have my sex be with someone I really, really care about.
And was it hard to have that?
I'd explored all my sexual weird kinks and stuff. I knew what I liked. Yeah. I was kind of like, I did all the fantasies. I won all the awards. Piracy was killing my industry and destroying my company, my production company. So I was just like, what?
Generation X Studios?
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Thank you.
You started that in 2009.
I did,
You produced, you performed, you did everything.
Yep. I even picked the pictures for the box cover. I wrote all the naughty stuff on the back of the movie. Like I did pretty much everything except for actually physically shoot it. I had a cameraman shoot it and edit it. But
So
everything
cool,
else,
though.
I picked the outfits, I picked the girls, I directed and picked like the positions and the, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And it was a lot of fun. I directed 13 movies. We won a bunch of awards. We won Best Girl Movie of the Year twice, Best Young Girl Movie of the Year, Best Couple Sex Scene, Best Girl Sex Scene.
Jesus.
Yeah, I won a bunch of awards for my movies, and then
So you're balling at that time. You're crushing it.
I was doing really well. I was hosting the AVN Awards. I was winning Performer of the Year. Like I was doing really well, and then tube sites came along.
Yeah.
And torrent sites really started to proliferate, and then that started just to kill my industry.
Yeah.
And then I saw people, I would tour and people and do my dance gigs, and people would come up to me and be like, "Oh," I'd be like, "Do you want to buy a DVD?" And they'd be like, "Why would I buy a DVD? I could just watch you for free on you know, and say this tube site." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like
It's like Napster with music.
People it's exactly what, you know, but
Yeah.
because it's the adult industry, people don't care about it as much.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been allowed to continue,
Yeah.
you know, in society. And that's what I talked about in my TED Talk is
Yeah,
how
it's great.
I think that, you know, these tube sites, specifically one in particular who I don't like to promote, I feel like they really did societally like train the world
Yeah.
to like think that they don't have to pay for adult content.
Yeah, and you say like people really don't respect what they don't have to pay for.
Yeah.
It's so true. The erotic digital stimulation, the YouPorn, the porn hubs.
Yeah.
Watching porn is not sex education for kids. It's false reality of sex.
Yeah.
Unrealistic expectations of sex. We talked about outside, about different kids growing up. All they know is online stuff.
Yeah.
And then they get with a girl, they don't know what to do because that's all they know. It's like not real stimulation.
Well, they
It's
have
really
this
confusing.
perception and this unrealistic expectation of what sex is supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to sound. And it's
Yes.
they don't understand that everything is exaggerated in adult. Everything
Absolutely.
is fantasy. It's like almost cartoonish to a degree, and
Yeah.
you know, to some degree. And it's fantasy. It's not reality. And I think that that's, you know, that's a problem. I think that, you know, teens should be educated on what is fantasy and what is reality, and how that's not a portrayal of what not normal sex, but it's not a portrayal of what the average sex experience is like.
I think by
you know
somebody
what I mean?
like you or a teacher or something, not an online video, which is no description. It's just like, it's interesting. But like, you also talk about how it should be age verified. You should pay for it.
I do. And I think it should be paid for. I think that would eradicate a lot of the teen usage if there wasn't these free tube sites.
Totally.
You know what I mean? If every single adult film was behind a paywall and you had to be, you know, had to have a, you know, adult credit card and have like, you know, I'm even okay with having your ID checked, because when you buy cannabis in LA, or you go and you buy a bottle of wine, they card me.
Totally.
They swipe my ID. It's in a system that knows that, hey, I just bought cannabis.
Yeah.
I just bought wine. You know what I mean? So I don't see the difference in having someone swipe your ID. And the industry, there's people in the industry who tell me I'm totally wrong for this, because from their perspective, and I do see this, you know, by having the age verification and having your ID have to be stored, they can create a like a social profile on you based on what kind of porn you're watching.
Wow.
So if you're watching super kinky stuff, like,
Or crazy
it can
stuff.
be connected. And so I do see
It
that
could track pedophiles or just whatever, any kind of stuff.
I do. And so I
Interesting.
do see that, like, people are talking about how it impedes on your freedom of speech and your privacy. But at the same time, like, it is adult content and you should have to be an adult to watch it. I'm sorry, because I don't think that kids should be allowed to access unlimited amounts of super, super hardcore porn, because the porn now is a lot different than the porn that was made when I got in. When I got in, like, a DP was considered, oh my God, that's like crazy hardcore.
Yeah.
And now it's like
It's crazy.
triple anal is like a thing. Like,
Wow.
you know,
I don't know
like,
how that even works. That's crazy.
I don't know how it works either.
crazy.
I really don't know how it works. It's like, it's making me feel a little vanilla.
Also, like, you hire these companies that deal with piracy and stuff, and they would take your videos down.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, they'd be back up.
Yeah, I still
It's
have it.
fucking
I work with an anti-piracy company called Takedown Piracy. They're really great. They've been in the industry for many, many years, and they fingerprint my content, and so that they scan the internet for it now. And they get it taken down. And I get, you know, I've had thousands and thousands of things taken down in the last 2 years. And it's still a never ending battle. Even like it was back then when I retired, it's still a never ending battle. I send out the cease and desist, the platform takes it down, and then another user uploads the same thing.
It's crazy.
And it's all because of Section 230, which dictates that platforms like YouTube and all of these tube sites aren't responsible for what users upload to their site.
Okay.
And so the person who uploads it is responsible. But like as a creator, if someone is like this random guy from, Timbuktu, like from some random town in like the middle of the country is this guy who's uploading my stuff, and there's hundreds of these people who are uploading my stuff individually. How do you go after them legally? It's crazy. Do you know what I mean? You have to do like a John Doe inquiry thing to find, which costs like $25,000 or something legally to be able to find out who these people are, and then you have to spend all the money to like, and it sucks. It sucks because I used to see before the piracy stuff, I used to see people really respect adult films. Like people would come to my signings and they would treat you like you were a Hollywood, like Angelina Jolie type. They would come with stacks of movies. They would pay $60 per movie. Damn. You know what I mean? And get them autographed. And like it was very different. And now I don't see that kind of like putting us on a pedestal more. I see more as like it's, but there's also more access now directly to adult stars. You have like the OnlyFans where fans can like directly interact with, and it didn't used to be like that. It used to be like guys would have to like literally snail mail you like a letter to your PO box, like for a fan mail thing, or they would have to see you at conventions or something. That was the only access they had to you.
It's kind of cool. You're mysterious too.
I loved it like that. I loved really it cool. like that.
I was just thinking about that. Wow.
I do. Yeah. It's a totally different game now for the girls in the industry, but they're rocking it. And the creator platforms have brought it back to them where they're making more money.
OnlyFans is good, right, for people?
It's good. I have one. Yeah, okay. I have one, but I just do nude modeling now. I obviously haven't had sex on film in almost 14 years, actually.
It's amazing.
I know. Crazy, right? I've been retired for so long.
It's cool to be on OnlyFans just doing that stuff and not doing the other. Yeah, you can do what you want.
Yeah,
There's enough stuff of you out there doing stuff.
I just do nude modeling and striptease, and that's it.
It's crazy that like you get no residuals from all the work you did that's online.
I know. I do from the films that I directed and produced. Okay. I still make money off of that.
Even if they're on these weird sites, it doesn't matter.
Well, I have platforms that sell them.
Okay, that's cool.
And then I get the residuals from it and stuff. So
that's good.
Just like my Fleshlight, I get residuals from that, a certain percentage of every sale of every item.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the videos, it's almost like having music out there that was legally downloaded and you can't get money from it. Yeah. And the same thing. Because it's your hard work.
It is. I get really, really inside about it because I think
you should.
Because
it's your blood, sweat, and tears, man.
Yeah, people don't realize how much work. Each one of those movies took me a month of planning, shooting, production, like a month of my life.
Yeah.
Plus $40,000 of my own money.
Fuck.
That I would have to go and dance to come back to produce
do the dance tours. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was a lot of work, and people I don't know. I feel like they have lost the respect for the artistic side of it. But I think that also comes with the fact that now everything is like handheld shot on your phone on OF, and like the production aspect.
The filming on the phones.
Yeah, the production aspect has gone down so much, People
don't care.
I know.
They just
it makes me
something.
sad. I'm glad that I was in the adult industry and active when I was, because I think that I got like the last golden like years of it.
And you were saying too, I read something about like how it didn't feel like a family anymore.
Yeah.
The testing wasn't as much as it should be. You
were
with strangers.
The testing's actually gotten better.
Okay.
But it was when I joined the industry, we all got tested at this place called AIM. That was run by a woman who actually used to be an adult film star herself, and then she went to school and became, I don't know what she got her degree in, but so she set up this foundation called AIM, and that's where we'd all get tested. And when I started, there was only like 800 people in the entire industry that were getting tested, and that was like, gay side and straight side and everything. Yeah. And I knew everybody. It was like the same 10 guys. It was like a lot of the big contract stars, and then some girls would come in, do some movies and then leave. But it was really like, it was like more of a family. And then now, because of the internet,
thousands and thousands.
It's like, I think it's like 80,000 people get tested at the testing facilities now on a regular basis. Crazy. Which is like, don't quote me on that because I may be totally off, but that's what I've heard. That's what people have told me.
How many times a month were you getting tested?
Well, back then you'd only have to get tested every 28 days, which is a big gap. It's a big gap. And so when I actually started my own company in 2009, for the last 2 years that I performed, I would pay out of pocket to get my co-stars tested the day before I would work with them.
Smart.
Because I started to not feel as safe. In the beginning of my career, I felt really safe because it was so small and close-knit. But towards the end, I started to feel like, girls started going, and there's nothing wrong with this. I totally don't shun it. I support all sex work, but girls started to go outside of the industry, do more escorting and more privates and like coming in. And I was like,
dangerous. Yeah.
I started to feel like it was becoming a little bit more like risky. So I was getting everyone tested the day before I would work with them. But now the testing is actually, from what I know, it's actually massively improved.
That's awesome.
The people in the industry get tested like every 14 days.
Great.
And they're testing for more things, because there's more things to worry about now than there was when I was in the industry. There's different, like there's MGen and which is microplasma genitalia. And then there's like ureaplasma, which are these newer STDs that have come up in the last couple of years.
What about the one you mentioned off the pod that my son got tested for? That all kids are getting tested for PVH, HPV. Yeah, that's another one too.
But yeah, so now the testing is even more thorough. It's also more expensive, but they test for because now like hepatitis is a bigger concern, things like that. They test.
Sorry about your headphones. It's so cute.
It's okay.
It's so cute. The listeners, her headphones keep sliding off to like Mickey Mouse ears.
I have a little head.
It's okay.
I'm a tiny person.
Was there anybody back then you don't have to say their names? Is there somebody like, I have to work with that guy today? I don't want to do it. Like you would say, I don't want to work with that guy. I
mean, there was a couple, because when you first get in, you kind of just have to work with who they assign you with because you don't have a name. But once I started winning awards after the first year or two, you get to do your own list of who you will work with and who you won't work with. Yes. But there was one guy that I had to work with, and it was for a feature film and a parody, actually. And he was much, much older than me, and it gave off like grandpa vibes. But he was cast in this role because it was a parody of a show. And so I did work with him, even though I was like not into it.
That's the oldest you worked with? Yeah.
I was just not into it because I was just not attracted to him. But I did it for
the
role.
You don't like older guys? We already talked about it.
What?
You don't like older guys?
I don't like older guys.
But this is work, so you had to do it.
Well, but when I was younger, I liked more. I guess I liked older guys because I was in my mid-20s and I like guys that were in their early 30s. And now I'm in my early 40s and I like guys that are in their early 30s still.
It's all good. No judgment. So you had to work with an older guy. You're like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, and he wasn't on my usual list for things, but it was because of the role, and it was he was perfectly cast for the role too. So it was just kind of like, so I did it, and it was one of the reasons I ended up winning Performer of the Year. So I don't regret it.
Oh wow! But
it was one of the scenes where I was like, I didn't really want to, and it was one of the ones where I was like, okay, this is where I pull out my acting chops.
You really this one.
But most of the time, I mean, once you build a name, you got to work with who you wanted to work with, and now they even have. They've taken it way further, which is great. But they have like consent. They have like consent like lists where you mark off at the beginning of a scene what you're okay with your co-star, and where it's okay to like touch and where it's not okay, and like things like that.
Even in this industry, wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because
they've gotten even more, and that's all because of like Me Too movements and things like that, and consent talks.
But back then, it's just like kind of free for all, do whatever you want.
Well, back then,
what the scene's gonna entail.
Well, yeah, and back then we talked about consent and stuff. We just would have the conversation with our co-star verbally beforehand. Yeah. But now because people are scared of like lawsuits and things like that, everything has to be done in like paperwork. Like you have to go on camera now, I guess, and say like, I'm consenting to this. Like we didn't used to have to do that. We would just have to sign a paperwork saying like, yeah, we're good with this, and have the discussion with our co-star and like, yeah. Yeah, and people really, when I was in the industry, I was very lucky. People were really respectful. Like if you weren't okay with something or you didn't want to work with someone, you didn't have to do it. There was no.
What about like falling for somebody and like one of those scenes where catching feelings? Has that happened?
I mean,
you fall for like just an instant connection you have.
I've never had that happen.
Okay. Maybe for some people, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe because for me it was a job, and this is a set, and like I don't know. I mean, there were definitely people who I really enjoyed working with. Yeah. And there is a couple people that I also like had private sex with off camera as well.
Okay.
But they weren't people that I like really fell in love with, except for my ex-boyfriend who was the producer and director. Yeah.
What about separating like your job and what you do at your job to like a regular relationship, like a romantic relationship, like taking it down, just being yourself, because that's not who you are on camera all the time or ever. I don't know you personally like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like
sometimes
like
I'm
shutting
like that
it
in the bedroom.
But I was saying like just to be like, okay, now this is actually doing this. This is like, I don't want to say making love, but I'm in love with this person.
Yeah, no,
so it's not just working.
I've always said that doing adult films has actually made my personal sex life more intimate and more passionate and meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it for the world to see. This is just this moment in time that's for me and this person, and it's special and it's meaningful. It's, there's.
And you don't have to fake it if you don't want to.
I don't.
Do you know what I mean?
Usually fake it.
Well, I'm saying, okay, in the movies maybe.
I think maybe like a couple times in my whole career I faked it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because I can just, even if like the scene isn't going that great, I would just close my eyes and think something dirty, and then just be able to like.
Okay, you're professional.
I'm an easy orgasmer though. I am. I really am.
For the listeners. Also, it's interesting you mentioning like the jobs you had before that industry. You felt more like kind of degraded.
I did.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I did,
yeah.
absolutely. I got sexually harassed at 2 of the jobs that I worked at.
At a gas station and stocking shelf somewhere.
No,
maybe.
I worked at, so my first job was at Taco Bell, actually.
Okay.
And I became like an assistant.
Taco Bell?
I know. And I became like an assistant manager like when I was like 16 years old there or something.
Shout out to Taco Bell. Wow.
I know, right? Oh God, I can't even imagine eating there. Oh God,
They got some vegan options
No,
now,
it makes me sick. Like I got food poisoning there twice as an adult in my early 20s, and so I will never go.
Okay.
And because I work there, I know how everything's made and stuff.
Okay,
It's
sorry,
gross.
Taco Bell.
Sorry, Taco Bell.
Big sponsor of the podcast. I'm just kidding.
Not my thing.
Just kidding.
I prefer liquid death water. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, you do.
And then I worked after that at an oil change place called Easy Lube, where
That's an interesting name.
I know.
Are you serious?
I know, but I didn't do the oil changes. I would assist the guys with the oil changes, but I was like the girl
That
at
still
the front
sounds
desk.
suspect from.
I know, and so I got sexually harassed there by my boss, and then which was weird. And then I actually had to leave that job because they wanted to drug test me for marijuana, and I was like, I'm not gonna pass this drug test.
I'm Haze, motherfucker.
I was like, I'm not gonna pass. This was before the Haze, though.
Okay.
And then after that, I worked at Toys R Us stocking shelves, and then I worked as a pie girl, and then started working as a waitress at that same pie shop. And those were my 4 jobs that I had before I got into.
And that's it for the real jobs with the boss.
Other than the one day stripping, that was my only jobs.
It's crazy, man. Something else I saw you say is that like the industry you in is almost like one of the main industries where women actually can make more money than men.
Yes.
It's interesting. I never even thought about that.
There's a few male performers who do really, really well because they're so famous and they're so like highly regarded, and they do such a great job, but they still don't usually make as much as the women make. And so I think it's an interesting thing because society judges female adult film stars more than they do male, right? Like more male porn stars in the world are like, oh yeah, that's like, but women are viewed a little bit more in a derogatory manner, right? But within the industry, actually, if women who are in the industry, and if anyone is listening to this that wants to get in the industry, women, you guys have the power. Like we have the power to like call the shots and to make the rules and to set our rates.
Especially now with all the platforms.
Yep. And I love that. I that's one of the things that I loved about the industry is that I actually felt
like a boss lady.
I did. Yeah.
Powerful,
and I was able to explore my sexuality in a very safe way where I wasn't going to get like murdered and like buried in the desert and like, you know what I mean? I got to explore all kinds of crazy fantasies. I did the cop fantasy. I did this fantasy. I did the nurse fantasy. I did the stewardess, fantasy. I did all of these. I did the pirate fantasy. I did a vampire fantasy. Yeah. And I also got to kind of like forever like enshrine my youngness on film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can always, when I'm 90 years old and I'm all decrepit and wrinkly and old, I can look back at those and be like, man, I was fine as fuck.
It's amazing.
Look at how beautiful I was.
Have you ever looked, if you're watching your own stuff, I went back and looked at it?
No. So I used to be a really big porn fan before I got in the industry. And then once I got in the industry, I couldn't watch it for fun anymore. So I stopped, because it became my job. I would if I watched it, I would analyze it too much. I would be like, oh, I know that house. I've had sex at that house. I know that guy. I know that girl doesn't really like that guy. Like now I think I could watch more because I don't know as many people in the industry.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit separated from it, but I don't have a desire to watch it. I honestly don't because it's weird. I don't watch porn.
Yeah.
Like at all.
You fucking lived it though.
At all. I lived it. Exactly. And so, yeah, but I did have to, I edit all my own stuff for my OnlyFans. I edit all my stuff pretty much for my Instagram and all my social media. And, I would have to go over the editing for my films back in the day. So I did have to watch myself a lot. And I have to say that's a whole other thing is like.
Psychologically watching and stuff.
Well, it's hard not to watch yourself and judge yourself or find little things.
Critique it.
Yeah, where you're like, oh my God, I made that face. Or like, so you really have to detach yourself from it mentally and be like, okay, like I'm watching like this and not let it get in your head because then, you might be on, I didn't want to like watch like my films and then be like, oh my God, I don't like it when I make that, move or that move. I want to be natural on film.
Yeah.
So like I tried not to watch my films. Like the only ones I watched were the ones that I directed and produced because I had to make sure that they were okay to go out for my fans. But I never really watched any of my films because I didn't want to become self-conscious on camera.
Harsh critic of yourself. Yeah.
I wanted to be natural and fluid and just exude the sexuality rather than being in my head and thinking about, oh my God, what am I making that face? Am I doing this thing? So I
try to be so perfect, man, about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just refused to watch them.
Damn.
I know. Weird, right?
It's crazy, man. I saw also you talking about the online bullying with sex workers too.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And people talking shit to you and It's interesting because they probably watched the stuff you did. They probably were fans. They probably, get off to it and then still want to talk shit to you. It's interesting. It's like, I don't know.
It is interesting, and there has been bullying in the industry to the point where, a performer a few years ago took her own life.
Wow.
Because she was being bullied online for refusing to work with or do a specific kind of scene or something for her own personal reasons. And she was called like slurs and then she went and ended her. And it's tragic.
That's horrible.
It's absolutely tragic. And that's one of the horrible things, like we were just saying about social media, is that it gives people a platform to do some really horrible abuse.
Yeah.
And people don't know. You don't know what that person's going through. You don't know if this mean thing that you say is going to be the thing that makes them like lose their shit.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's
really sad.
But hey, I'm going to have a job in mental health care for a long time because of social media.
I'm excited for that.
Because of social media, because it's really bad,
You also said you had a bank that kind of shut your account down. They found out who you were. Like years after being retired.
Yeah. So I had 2 bank accounts shut down. This is something that happens all the time. So the discrimination for adult film stars and people who work in any kind of sex work or any kind of adult related field, the discrimination by society through institutions is brutal. Like there's health discrimination, there's financial discrimination, there's housing discrimination. And I experienced personally the banking discrimination, the financial discrimination, where I had, when I was still performing, I had 1 bank account shut down. They basically told me, we don't want your hundreds of thousands of dollars, take it away. We don't want your business. We found out what you did. And
because nobody at that bank ever watched anything.
But I had a business account, and I had a corporation and everything. It's all legally done. It's through a corporation. It's legal to create adult films here in California. Like I'm not doing anything illegal.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And then after I retired, I had another bank. After I'd switched, I had another bank. I was like, I don't even do that anymore.
Did they tell you that's why?
Yes. They said, we don't want
people. Can't you get fucking sued for that?
No, they can't. And I think it's absolutely horrible. I had a friend who had a really hard time she went through a breakup and then she was looking for a new place to live. And because of where her income came from, she spent like a year trying to find some place that would rent to her.
That's so fucking crazy, man.
I feel so blessed that I was able to save up my money and buy a house, because like it's just everyone needs a shelter. Everyone needs to have a bank account. Everyone, there's healthcare discrimination too. Like when I was personally looking for a therapist years ago, I had a hard time finding a therapist who once they found out what I did for a living, I went through 3 therapists before I found one that I loved. And once they found out what I did for a living, that's where they wanted to be like, oh, this is why you're having like, why you're emotionally distraught, or this is why you're having like, you're feeling sad about this is because you did porn and that messed you up. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, it's actually because I'm in this terrible relationship. I just got out of this terrible relationship and I had like some stuff happen to me, like family stuff and things like that. Like we were poor, like I talked about earlier, and living like that is traumatic as a child.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Living and growing up in motels and not having enough to eat sometimes is traumatic.
Yeah.
So I would try to explain to these therapists, I'd be like, no, it's actually like the trauma I went through as a child, like not having a stable home, and it's actually this relationship. But then they would always be like, oh no, it's the adult. And I was like, no, the adult was actually really amazing for me and really healthy for me. Like it's one of the best parts of my life. And so it took me a while, and that's actually how I started to go down the field of therapy, is because I realized like, man, people really judge people who do this, and it must be hard. If I'm having this problem, imagine all the other people who are various types of sex workers, cam girls, all this stuff. So then I was like, well, maybe I go to school. That's what I wanted to do in the first place. I go to school, I study psychology, and I see if I become a therapist. And
it's amazing.
And I did, and
it's so crazy. Well, let's get to that now, because you.
Sorry, I'm going all over the place.
No, you're like a college undergrad for psychology, right? Psychology major, is that what it was?
Yeah. So I did an associate's degree because it's actually cheaper in the United States if you do the first 2 years at like a community college and then you switch to a bigger university. It's much more financially fiscal. It's much more responsible. I can't talk right now because I've been talking too much.
No, you're killing it. It's fucking awesome.
So thank you. And so I'm sorry, where did I so I went to community college for 2 years and got my associates in psychology, and then transferred to a 4-year university where I completed my bachelor's in psychology with a minor in gender and women's studies.
Amazing.
I almost double majored, and I should have just done the 2 degrees, but it was going to be another year of work, and I was like, no. But then the pandemic happened, and I should have just done it. And so then the pandemic happened, and so then I spent 2 years working actually in the field doing mental health care work. I worked at a crisis hotline
during the pandemic.
Right when the pandemic
That's
started.
gnarly.
I started working at a crisis center, answering calls and basically helping people get emotionally regulated. And
amazing.
And then I started working at a facility at the same time as well that worked with women with borderline personality disorder and suicidal ideation and self-harming behaviors and emotional dysregulation, like bipolar and things like that. And so I worked there for a year and a half doing coaching and counseling. And then after having this experience, I was like, okay, I have enough experience. I can apply to grad school now because it can be hard. I tried to get into grad school right after my bachelor's and apply to doctoral programs, and nobody accepted me because they're like, you have no experience.
Wow.
So I went and got experience during the pandemic and then applied to a pretty prestigious university, got in for a master's program, and I just completed that this June.
That's incredible.
Thanks.
How does that feel from like just getting your GED and then getting into the business and you go back to school? It's like a movie. Should have been documented, man. Jenna Haze gets her degree. It's crazy.
Maybe they'll do a movie about me.
Well, you're writing this book. I know you work on this book for years, so it'll be in there.
It'll be in there.
Congratulations, because we were talking
you.
the past couple of years about doing this podcast. Like, I'm ready when I graduate, and like,
yeah, just let me finish the.
Congrats, though.
The grad program was way more intense than my undergrad. My
it
undergrad
was so hard, right?
Because, so the grad program I did, basically they had me taking between 19 and 21 units of classes, which a full load is considered, I know I said a full load, is considered 12 units. It's considered full time. And so I was taking that between 19 and 20 each quarter.
Yeah.
And then I was also doing an internship for between 20 and 30 hours a week, and then also doing a year-long research project.
Jesus,
so
man.
it was...
I wonder why you were off Instagram.
It was like 70, 80 hour weeks, you know,
Dude.
easy. Plus all the reading you have to do and all the papers and homework and like.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
Okay.
I'm such a masochist.
No, it's amazing.
I want to do a doctorate now. So next year I'll start. I'm taking the rest of this year off, but then next year I'm going to start applying to doctoral programs.
You went back to your book nerd days.
Yeah, I like
Have you been
it.
reading
I like learning.
You've been reading your whole life? Like,
yeah.
Always reading through all your
My house
careers?
is full of books.
That's awesome.
So I love to read.
Even during your other job, all that, you're always trying to read. And
Yes. The only thing is like once I haven't read much for the last 2 years because the grad school had me and even in my undergrad, they had me reading so much. And I was reading so much for my degrees that I stopped reading for pleasure because I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
And then I started watching a lot more films and a lot more shows.
Okay.
So that was like my detox. You know, I'd do all this hard work and then I'd be like, I just need my brain to turn to mush. Give me some stupid sitcom or something. You know? And then I would just turn on some movie or show and like decompress that way. But now that I've graduated, I'm eager to start reading more for fun again because I'm not being assigned 500 pages a week to read.
It's crazy.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Do you obtain it all good? Are you a good reader? You like...
I obtain a lot of it. Yeah.
I
get a lot of test anxiety though. Like I get real bad test anxiety. So I had to work through that through my years in school. And now I have techniques that help.
Yeah.
You know, I actually meditate and do like breath work before I take a test in my car before I go in.
Oh, that's awesome. You feel like it helps?
Yes. I also have particular like ways of studying and things like that help me prepare.
Nice.
Yeah.
Obviously it worked.
Yeah, and you have to have a strategy, you know, when you take a test. You have to like know that tests are designed a certain way. And if you have a strategy going in, you can usually do pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, you have to learn how that teacher's testing, you know, how what their approach is, you know, what they're looking for.
Did anybody recognize you in the classes?
I got recognized by one person once in my undergrad, and it was only because he dated a friend of mine's sister or something, and he recognized me because of like we'd been at like a party or something together or something, and
but
he was like,
from
hey.
your work,
But no, nothing.
Did people recognize you in grocery stores or anywhere? Or?
Not.
I know you from somewhere.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but I wore a lot of makeup in my movies and I don't really wear a lot of makeup now. Plus I had like really light hair in my movies. I have more blonde in most of my films. Okay. And now I have much darker hair. I don't really dress that way.
It's kind of creepy off the radar like that. It's nice.
I like it. I feel like I'm like, you know, like Superman and Clark Kent kind of. I have my two different like, you know, I'm like the psychotherapist nerdy, like more like down to earth, you know, chick, like stoner chick, but then I'm also like this like sex goddess on the other end.
How long have you been on OnlyFans for? And was that kind of weird going back into kind of just being online naked?
Yeah. So I started actually in 2017 when they first started.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. And I did it because my assistant at the time encouraged me to open one while I was on my final feature dancing tour that I did in 2017 to 2018. And she encouraged me to start putting on like behind the scenes stuff from that tour on there. And so that's how I started, but I didn't start taking it seriously. And I think until like 2020. And then I started like really putting effort into it. And like, you know,
it really blew up in 2020. I think that's when I really first heard about it. I was like, this is crazy.
It did. And I love it. I do love it. But I do have a lot more rules on mine than most girls. Like most girls do a lot more on theirs than I do. I'm limited.
It's crazy. You're keeping it tame. You already had that life already, though.
Well, yeah, and I'm actually doing something new on my OF that I thought would be very cool, because I had a lot of fans who are like, why don't you put your old scenes that you own from Generation X Studios? Why don't you put them on here?
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, but most of my fans have already seen those, will they buy them again?
Maybe there's new fans.
They probably already own the DVD, And so what I've been doing is I've been actually, since I haven't watched these films in like 13, 14 years, I've been doing a director's commentary reaction video.
No way.
Where I've been recording myself watching these films for the first time in well over a decade and talking about them to my fans.
Is it weird or no? Is it?
It's kind of weird, but it's also kind of cool, because I'm like, dang, like I was good at my job. It's really good at my job. And it's cool to kind of see it. There have been a couple things where I was like, oh my God, there was an editing mistake that I didn't catch.
Oh shit.
That like, how did that get through? Like, I was doing a director's commentary the other day, and I heard the director in the scene give me a direction, or not the director, I'm sorry, the cameraman give me a direction in the scene, like, do that move again or something. And I was like, how did we miss that? How did I, when I was going over the editing years ago, like 13, 14 years ago, I missed that.
Yeah.
So there's been funny things like
That's
that.
cool.
And my fans seem to really like it. I think it's a really unique idea.
When you retired, were you like in your prime? Like
I was.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of cool to go out like that and just like fucking stop.
Yeah. I was at the peak. I was the most
Make
popular.
them want to miss you.
Yeah. I was the most popular adult film star, and leave them wanting more,
Yeah.
like. But I also, if I had planned it out better, I would have done it a little bit differently. I think I would have been like, okay, I think I'm planning on retiring. Let me shoot a bunch of scenes and then slowly release them throughout the years after I retire.
Yeah.
And milk it that way. And instead, I just kind of like, one day I did a scene. It was a fantastic scene. And I went home, and I thought about, a couple weeks later, I thought about booking another one for my company. And I was just like, I don't really want to do it. And because of all those other reasons, that I talked about, I was just kind of like, I don't really have to either. I was very financially secure at the time, and I was just like, why? And then I was like, okay, I'll direct for a little bit longer. And then the piracy just killed the directing, and I was just having so much like emotional, like angst and like turmoil, because I was watching my scenes just get pirated constantly, and people start to like devalue them and all this work. And I was just like, I can't watch this. It was soul crushing to watch people just like rip off my work constantly and not care about it.
Damn.
And so then I was like, okay, I guess I'm just done. And so then, nothing. And I've never released what my final scene was, because I feel like people are going to analyze it and be like, look for something that went wrong to like make me retire. So I've never publicly said what was my last scene, because I don't want people to think that something went, because nothing went wrong. It was a really great scene. It was a fantastic scene.
You're never going to put like on OnlyFans or Patreon or something exclusive?
No, it's out there. I've just never publicly said which scene was my final one.
That might be good for the new narration videos you're doing. Maybe kind of be cool.
Maybe when I do the director's commentary for that one, I'll be like, and by the way, this was my final one.
That's what I'm saying. I think people would love that.
They probably would, but cool. Yeah, I that's the only thing that I think I would have done differently about my retirement. But I was done. I'd spent 10 years in the industry. I'd won all the awards. Did
it all.
I was like, I didn't feel like I was growing anymore. I didn't feel like I was learning or growing or evolving as a person anymore. And
kind of growing out of it.
Exactly. And I was like, well, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? Because it's also, I didn't want like just the adult film industry to be my entire life. And that's all I did my entire, like some people are fine with that, and that's great for them. Like that's cool. Like they spend 50 years in the adult industry. Awesome. Great. As long as you're happy.
Yeah, how long can you go? I feel like with OnlyFans, you could be any age and continue on your career.
And now like people really like older women. So
one thing I noticed at the awards, they were giving out awards for like, I don't know, maybe older. I don't know what it was called, but it was like
MILF or Cougar.
Yes.
Cougar, yeah.
Me and my wife were like, holy shit, like how long can you do this for?
Nina Hartley, I think, is still performing, and she's got to be in her 60s or something.
She's like an OG in there. What about the men? Any OG? Like what's that guy's name we mentioned earlier? Peter North is gone.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's performed for a long time.
What about the other guy with the crazy hair and the nose and the mustache?
What, the crazy hair?
No, like he's legendary. And
Ron Jeremy. Oh God, he hasn't been around for ages, and he went to prison and stuff. Oh God, no.
Okay.
Thank God, no.
He
actually sexually, sexually harassed me, like my.
Holy shit.
Which I've actually. This is an exclusive you got here.
Okay.
Well, I was on set one day, and he came up behind me when I was like watching the
monitors.
This will
go viral. I'm just kidding.
And he just like grabbed my butt, like without even like I'd never met him before. He just walked up behind me and grabbed my butt, and I turned around and I smacked his hand away, and I said, "Don't you ever touch me like that again."
Good.
And from then on, he would give me creepy kisses at conventions when we see, and just come up and try to kiss my cheek. But from then on, he never he never did anything to me. Yeah, at 19 years old, I was like, I don't think so. I'm still like,
No more airtime for this guy.
No more airtime for this
Disrespectful.
guy. But I don't know which male, because there's a lot of new guys now in the business.
Okay.
I went to an adult film, like adult industry party over the summer that was like wild. I barely knew anybody. I knew
people
like
know you and you come in the room that they know
a few people knew me.
Like
yeah.
the younger know the OG.
Some do, some don't, you know. But I ran into like a couple of male performers I knew, but other than that, I didn't really know many people there.
Did you feel like totally out of place and weird?
I kind of did, and I was like, and so I haven't gone to another one because I'm just kind of like, this isn't really my thing anymore.
Yeah,
you know, they
such a grown up.
I know, I'm a grown up now, but it's a different industry, you know. And I think that back to what we were talking about, most of the older guys in the business that I even know, I think Manuel is still performing. Manuel Ferrara, who's amazing. I know that Scott Nails is still performing, who was one of my favorite guys to work with on camera. Johnny Sins is still around.
I don't know his names.
So there's still some of like the main guys that are still like that are very big.
You pay attention to the new people coming in. You hear like, I heard about this girl. She's killing it.
Some of them, and I meet some of them at the conventions I go to because like I've started going back to the conventions and doing more convention appearances.
That's
mostly
cool.
because I could hang out with Joanna, to be honest.
She's the best. Shout out to Joanna Angel, fucking gangster.
Yeah, so I love hanging out with her, and because I'm not really in the industry anymore, I don't get to see her as much.
Yeah.
So I go out and do conventions so I could hang out with her and stuff. And I meet some of the new people like when I'm there. You know, some of them I met.
Do people ask you for advice and stuff like that?
Not really. I mean, people, no, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people who can guide people in the industry a lot more now. There's a lot more awareness. There's a lot more like aware of like what's okay, what's not okay. There's like,
you got respect though.
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of people who come up to me. They're like, "Oh my God," like, you know, which is
legend.
Cool. Which is
You're
cool.
a legend.
I guess so. That's so weird though. Like somebody told me the other day that I'm still technically the third highest female awarded porn star of all time.
Oh wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Who's the first?
I think the first is Angela White.
Okay.
And then I think the second is Tori Black, and then I think Riley Reid is right behind me.
Okay.
So I think we're all in the same, like the top echelon.
Crazy.
Of the awarded people. But I mean, someone's going to end up beating me in the next couple of years and like even more, and I'll start going down the list and I'll be like fifth highest or sixth. But it was still cool that for like a long time I was the highest awarded adult film star of all time, which was pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Super cool.
What do you keep your do you have trophies and stuff?
Oh, it's so funny that you say this. So I had an ex-boyfriend, the bad relationship I talked about years and years ago.
Sold them on eBay?
No. Well, he actually told me to throw them away when I was with him, and he wanted me to throw them away. And so I didn't, though. And I said, I'm not throwing them away. I said, I will box them up because he didn't want to see them in the house. So I boxed them up and I stored them away in a closet. And recently, actually, about a couple months ago, I think I was like, I'm going to get these out and look at them. Yeah. And so I got them out and I put them all on like a table and like looked at them. And so now I'm in the process of buying an award case.
Good.
Like a beautiful case, probably from like Restoration Hardware because they're so gorgeous. They're so expensive though. And I'm going to put all my awards in there and have them displayed. Like,
did this person that told you to put them away, did he know what you did for a living before?
Yes, of course.
It's so interesting to me that like.
Well, that's what happens is that at first when the guy dates you, at first when they date, they think it's the coolest thing. They love the attention that they get from their friends and how people are like, oh my God, you're dating so-and-so.
What's it like?
This is so cool. And they love that. And then as soon as they start to have feelings for you or fall in love with you, then they start to get insecure is what happens because they feel vulnerable and they feel like they've, especially like, men, when they start to feel feelings, they can feel vulnerable and feel a little emasculated or something. And so then they start to, feel insecure, and then they start to like, I had an ex-boyfriend once like watch my movies and then like get like really like jealous and be like, you really want this kind of stuff. You don't really want me. You really want this. And I was like, dude, like no.
Oh,
like,
God, dude.
And then they start to like analyze your movies. And so I always just tell them like, don't watch my movies unless you're going to be cool about it.
But it might make them insecure because you've probably had sex with some of the best people in the world, and then it makes them
I always say the best fuckers in the world.
They make themselves insecure about how their performance might be with you, or how, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which is why I try to stress to the world and to my partners that like porn has actually made my personal sex life better than my porn sex because there is feeling and there is. I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it for the people, my fans, to see, or for the artistic, production of something. I'm doing it simply because I want to share this moment with you and I want to feel connected with you and because I love you. Yeah. And so I try to explain that to my partners and stuff. And some people get it. Some people don't,
Has it made you look at sex differently when you're with somebody who's not being paid to be with you?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, it's got to be like,
it's just more intimate and meaningful. It's like in my scenes, like both me and my co-stars were paid to be there. We're both paid to do a job and to create this work of art that's going to go out in the world, and it's a completely different feeling than like, being in a car and driving with your lover and like you guys stop at a stoplight and he turns to you and kisses you romantically. Like it's completely, and then you guys start to get heated and you got to pull over the car and and get into it right there.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, my personal sex life is spontaneous. It's not planned out. There's not like this like outfit. I don't have to take pictures before. I don't have to
dude.
I don't have to worry about opening up to the camera and making sure that the lighting's right. There's so much that you're thinking of when you're in a sex scene. You're thinking of, making sure you're keeping that guy, excited. You're thinking of what are you saying? Where is the camera at? What's your best light?
Your makeup, your angles, everything.
100%. There's so much going on. Damn. And when you're in, personal sex life, you can just let go and relax completely. There's no thoughts.
Cameras, no lights, nothing.
There's no thoughts of anything. It's just that experience.
Yeah.
Which I love. I actually really, really love.
Wow.
Yeah. It's also made it more like, not just more meaningful, but like I don't want to have sex with just anyone.
Yeah.
Because I think that once you've been paid like a bunch of money now, you're like, well, are you really worth this?
I made this much money from doing that's crazy. Yeah, I never thought about that.
It's also made me more picky. Like I don't really have casual. I don't really have casual sex anymore. I have sex with people that I actually really connect with and that I have feelings for.
It's amazing, and you're not in those apps either.
I don't do the apps. I did try an app a couple years ago for 2 or 3 years ago. I think for like one day, I tried Hinge, and within an hour, even though I put my real name and I put like low makeup and like nothing about adult, within an hour, I had people messaging me on Instagram, calling me my real name and being like, hey, I saw you on.
Oh man.
And so I was like, no.
So you can't be on the apps. So you can't do that.
On the apps. It's too weird. So but I don't like that anyways.
I don't think Jenna Haze needs to be on the apps.
The day that I was on there was awful because I was like swiping and I was like, I feel so terrible. Like I'm just judging, like making these superficial judgments of these people based on this like digital representation that is nanosecond splits, couple seconds long, 5 seconds, 2 minutes, however long you spend on the page.
Totally.
And then I thought people are doing this to me and people are like swiping left or right and like judging me like this. And I was like, this just doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel natural. I like to meet people through friends or
in real life.
In real life. Yeah.
Have you seen this show Naked Attraction?
I haven't. What's that?
Oh my God. It's an English show where you are judged by your looks. This would never fly. I just talked with Roland about this yesterday. This would never fly in America. It's an English show. You can watch it on HBO or something. And these people in these cases, and it goes up first. First they show the feet. Then they show the middle section. Then they show the chest and the breast. Then they show the face last. And you pick them by each body part. And it's all shapes and sizes.
This is so superficial.
Circumcised, not hairy, not.
Wait, fully naked?
Fully naked.
Fully naked? Wow, this is amazing. I have to see this.
And it's all judgment. So you judge. So like, I like their feet. Okay, if they're sometimes they were like, I don't like that person because their nails haven't been done.
Are the males flaccid or are they erect?
They're not, but they'll swing around. They'll do whoop arounds. They do everything. And this show's on fucking television, man. And we watched it during the pandemic. And I sent it to my friends and like, is this a real fucking show? It would never fly in America. People are too vain. It would never happen here.
Yeah, they're also too they shun
this
sex.
Gonna be your favorite.
Sex
this might be your favorite show. And some are pierced. Oh, I'm like piercings. I'll skip that person. And then they finally show the face last, which is fucking crazy. And the balls, no pun intended, on these people to go on the show and be judged by their shape. It's fucking crazy, man. It's in England. It's your new favorite show.
I have to check this out. This sounds wild.
But it's crazy how people can just judge like that. And then they'll hear the voice. The last thing they hear is their voice. And they're like, I don't like that voice. Go to the next one.
I do think that physical attraction is important. And I do think that, I don't think it's everything, but I do think it is important. And I think that there's nothing wrong with being attracted to what you're more attracted to.
Yeah.
I have more of a type. I think everyone has more of something that they're just innately attracted to because of whatever reason. And
what's your type? It's definitely not older men.
No, it's like
late 30s is good.
Musicians.
Oh, geez.
I know. I gotta say.
Oh, geez. There's a problem right there.
I know. I tend to date musicians or actors or models. Very beautiful men usually. Tattoos, muscles. Usually green or blue eyes because I just love green or blue eyes. And usually like brown to blonde hair. Like I like white boys.
Anybody listening right now with that description, dude, do not hit her up.
I like
DM
classic flash tattoos are kind of like the style that I like.
Dude,
I know. I like guys who wear guys who wear like Doc Martens and wear like Joy Division shirts dude. And like.
I have some cool friends that are nice.
You know, that are into like The Cure.
Oh, dude. All the listeners like checking their outfits right now. Okay, that's a good
I don't like mustaches very much, but I'm flexible on them on the right people.
Mustaches.
It's some people trendy right now.
It's really trendy.
So trendy right now, and that's why I think I don't like it. Is I don't like things that are super trendy. I don't like the bucket hat thing either.
The bucket hat. That's a throwback kind of thing. Hip hop, Oasis, all that stuff.
I saw some of the girls are wearing like. Do you remember those shirts that we wore in like the early 2000s that were like they had just like a string on the back, but they were like a bib on the front?
Yeah, I see him rocking that.
That's like back in style. And I'm like, those are awful.
Yeah,
like,
and the big jeans.
The Jinko jeans. That's awful. It's like, what are you guys thinking? These do not take the worst things from those eras and bring them back. Like,
were you ever like a goth girl?
I consider myself more of a goth girl now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did go through a phase as a kid.
All black and
where I would only wear black and white, and my mom thought there was something wrong with me because I was in grade school.
Damn.
I was literally like I was in like 6th grade, 5th or 6th grade, and I was like, I'm not wearing any color. And my mom thought there was something wrong with me for a while. But then I fluctuate. Sometimes I wear a lot of color, sometimes I don't. But mostly I wear black now.
Do you have tattoos?
I have no tattoos, no piercings, no plastic surgery.
It's amazing. You are all fucking natural.
Yep, even natural nails. I do dye my hair color, but that's it.
That is crazy. No tattoos, especially in your industry. Wow.
Not a single
That's
one.
amazing, though.
I've thought about getting one recently, but that's only when and if my dog passes.
That makes sense.
I've thought about getting like her initial tattooed somewhere very small for me because she's the love of my life.
Let me know when you want a tattoo. I got you.
I've thought about just getting like her initial somewhere like very small and discreet.
Yeah.
Like a little typewriter initial or something. Like
yeah.
But I don't know. The thought of it, like, I'm not a big needle person. And,
me either, but I'm full
And I
of
also
tattoos.
changed my mind a lot about like what I want to wear and what I like. And so I think I would just like, I would like something for like a year and then I'd be like, get off of me.
Yeah.
But I love them on other people. And most of my friends are covered in them.
Yeah.
I'm like the odd person out because I'm just like, but I also think that for my job and because I do modeling and acting and stuff, I think it's also kept me very young looking.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of almost an anomaly now.
It is. It's
where,
cool
like,
not to have any.
Everybody has tattoos now. So for someone to not have tattoos, piercings, plastic surgery, I don't even have fake hair or fake nails.
It's
like
amazing.
that's like a rarity. So I've kind of just used that as my like all natural kind of vibe. And I'm just going to continue that. Although there may be some Botox in my future.
It's okay.
There may be some light Botox in my future.
Shout out to Joanna Angel. I think Joanna Angel, we talked. She was like one of the first women in that industry fully tatted up. I'm sure there's other women, but she kind of set it off with all that stuff.
Yeah, her and I met when my career was really taking off.
Yeah.
And her and I have been friends for almost 20 years.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we met at like an award show or something, and we instantly we were complete opposites.
Yeah.
Like just complete opposites. She's like this tattooed burning angel, like suicide type girl.
Yeah.
And I was like
two different crews, kind of.
Yeah, and I was like the mainstream glam girl wearing like the Louboutins and all the, and all this stuff. And she's wearing the creepers and
she's the best, man.
We were told, but we instantly became like best friends, and I think it worked out really well because like we never felt like we never competed with each other. We never because we had such different looks and such different vibes, and such different like fan bases. But the cool thing is that we worked together, and then our fan bases kind of crossed over, which was really, really cool.
You guys worked together, did some stuff together.
Oh yeah, we did a few movies together.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And then kind of people in the industry got to know that we were best friends. We were like
She brought the punk rock into that world.
I love her so much.
She's legit, man.
She's one of the coolest people.
Yeah.
Just so cool and such a good businesswoman. So smart.
So smart. So kind.
Yeah. Such a hard worker.
Totally. Super DIY like you, doing all of her own shit.
Yeah.
Let's get to the TED Talk. I thought that was awesome. How did that happen?
Okay, so it happened really randomly.
TED Talks are no joke.
So I did a TEDx talk, which isn't like there's the main TED ones, which are the massive ones. And then there's the TEDx ones, which they usually do at universities, which are a little bit smaller, but still they're basically considered the same.
Yeah.
I got an email one day, actually, in 2018 from somebody who was like, hey, would you like to do, it was like the end of 2018, would you like to do a TED Talk? And I thought it was a scam. I was like, this isn't real.
You never know these days.
So I looked up the email address of who it was. I looked up and did a little bit of research and then realized, oh my God, this is actually legit. So it was a university in Belgium.
That's cool.
that wanted to fly me out to talk about
Sick.
the adult industry, but talk about it with in more of a positive light, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think I talked about it in a positive light, but I also talked about it in a negative light. So
No,
I
I thought you killed it. You did great.
Thank you. It was my first time doing a speech, and I was petrified.
I was going to ask you, nervous?
I was so scared.
It was cute though. You could tell you kind of nervous, but also it was great.
Well,
though.
yeah, and I memorized like almost all of it, and then
I'm sure.
halfway through, I started to like forget, so I had to start reading it off the thing in the middle of the TED Talk because I never had to memorize 15-20 minutes of talking in front of a crowd before.
It's hard. Public speaking's hard.
And they contacted me only a few months before I gave the speech, and I was also taking a full load of college classes at the time because I had already started my education.
You said full load again. Go ahead.
I know.
We're just talking shit.
And so I was doing a lot of other stuff. I was also doing a gallery showing coming up to, like to commemorate my final dance tour and the book that I was doing with Paperwork NYC. There was a lot going on. And they contacted me and said, hey, can you write this speech and memorize it and then be out here in a few months? And so I didn't have a lot of time to do it. Yeah. So I did my best. I'm still very proud of it. There's stuff I would add to it now in hindsight, and there's stuff that I've learned in my educational, like my further university years that I kind of would want to like throw in there. So
maybe do another one.
I'd love to do another one. I've thought about just writing something and like presenting it to them and being like, hey, is there somewhere I could give this talk? Yeah. Because I had a really great time doing it. Yeah.
It was called Porn, A Shift in Mindset.
Yes. Porn, A Shift in Mindset. Yeah.
It's great.
I wrote the whole thing.
It's so sick though. He did that.
It was very scary.
Anybody from the industry ever done that before?
Yes. I think there's one or two other girls, but they aren't like mainstream adult film stars who have done it. Yeah. Yeah. But theirs I think were very different than mine.
Yeah. So mine really great.
Yeah. So mine just kind of talked about societal perceptions of porn and how it's very hypocritical. Everybody watches it, but then everyone,
wants it for free.
Well, yeah, and they also tend to treat us with disregard, or treat us with either abuse or discrimination, and how that's hypocritical, especially when like the world is. I mean, we're sexual creatures, like we're innately sexual, and everything in our world is sex. Like sex sells. You see it on the TV everywhere. You see it on burger commercials. You see
everywhere,
it
man.
Everywhere.
But I get what you're saying. Like a lot of videos are sexualized. Music. Everything.
It's everywhere.
There's even young singers now that you heard Chaperone. She's huge. She's talking.
I didn't know that's how you pronounce her name.
Maybe it's wrong.
No, I think it's actually right. I'm really bad at pronouncing
things. And she's talking about sexual things in her big songs on the radio right now. So there's like, it's all like how it's perceived or heard, or if you see it, there's a negative thing to it, even though every single person in the world has fucking watched one of these once in their fucking life.
Well, and
nobody's perfect.
And sex is how we procreate. It's one of the most amazing, like basic human activities and behaviors, but because of...
I love how you said that's how everybody in that room got there. We all got there because of that, because of our parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it shouldn't be something. It should be something that's talked about and celebrated and educated on, and viewed in a positive light, so that people can have positive relationships with their body and positive relationships with their sexuality and their sexual interactions. Yeah, rather than feeling this shame that religion and things have impacted, people's own perceptions of their sexuality and how they view sex in general in their bodies, and they feel this immense shame or guilt in relation to any sexual behaviors.
And look
what
happens in the Catholic Church, and look what happens with all that stuff.
It's the most corrupt stuff.
Sinead O'Connor was singing about and talking about.
I know she was. She was way ahead of her time, man.
So fucking punk rock,
Love
dude.
her
Let's
so
go on
much.
her right now. Getting canceled before cancel culture, ripping up the Pope's picture on SNL, speaking out about all these different things, and they all actually came true. Everything she talked about. But at that point, she was like kicked to the curb, and nobody took her back after that. Yeah. Her documentary's so fucking heavy.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my god, it's so
I love
heavy.
her so much. She was an icon, like and such a trailblazer. Like
absolutely, man. Everything she talked about and sang about. Yeah. But they fucking shunned her and shoved her to the side.
I know, it's tragic.
But like, all the religious stuff. I don't get into that shit. But yeah, like, dude,
well,
nobody's
that's where a lot of it comes from, and that's why like America is so sex negative in comparison to other countries. Like you go to Europe and stuff, and no one cares about walking topless. When women walk topless and stuff on the beach, no one cares. But here it's like, oh my god, cover. I just had Instagram just deleted my picture I posted last night because even though I photoshopped my nipple out, I even put a bar across of it. Within 2 minutes, they deleted it and said that it was sexual activity. And I was like, it's a very classy, fine art nude that showed nothing, that was completely censored.
And there's crazy shit on Instagram.
It was completely censored. And then I did a review, they put it back up, and then they deleted it again, and then they put it back up, and then they deleted it again. And I'm just like, make up your mind.
That's fucking strange.
It's so weird.
And then, like you talk about, if you scroll on Instagram, there's people getting shot, people getting eaten by animals, people getting beat up, people getting jumped.
Yeah, and all
plane
that,
crashes,
all that
shit.
violence, all that torture, all that pain, and all that like horrible suffering. That's okay for our society to view, but not a beautiful human body.
It's really interesting, man. It's a really good point.
Not beautiful, sex being celebrated in healthy ways.
Yeah. It's really interesting, man.
I have
it's
a lot
so
of friends.
twisted.
I have a lot of friends online who are like sex educators or sex, like doctor sexologists and stuff like that, and like a lot of times these sex educators have a really hard time getting their messages out on social media platforms because they will get their stuff deleted or get banned and stuff for just talking about anatomy.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Which is crazy, right?
And then people are on there half naked all the time, wearing like thongs or whatever, or dudes with their shirts off, or
who cares?
Doing crazy naked things, jumping on fire into fucking lakes. It's crazy, like jackass shit. Like it's just
yeah, but not sex. God forbid female show her nipples, right? But a guy can.
Damn.
A guy can show his nipples on Instagram, but a girl can't.
We need your book. We need your memoir.
I need to write it.
You've been talking about this.
I know. I've been talking about it for like 10 years.
You've been talking about this for so long. I think it'd be so fucking sick. I feel like you'd kill it, man. Especially now with all your knowledge and like you're a psychologist. You know what I'm saying? It's just
I have 3 other projects I'm trying to finish first.
I know you do some other like kind of what is it, like fantasy kind of book? What is it?
No. So I'm doing my first project that's gonna come out is Last Dance with Jenna Haze. So it's the film version of the large format zine that I did with paperwork.
Okay.
And it's all shot on like iPhones and like little handheld cameras and stuff like that.
Awesome.
It's very raw. And I'm calling it a performance art documentary. And so what it is it consists of 5 segments of me dancing on stage throughout my final dance tour. And then in between, there's like behind the scenes footage of me traveling backstage, doing photo shoots on the side for Fleshlight at the AVN Awards, all kinds of things. And so I'm putting that out actually as a limited edition VHS because my first adult movie was VHS and this is my last adult project.
That's cool.
And so I want it to be released on
Collector's
VHS.
item. That's cool.
Every one of them will be autographed. They'll all be hand numbered and everything. And I'm going to do that limited. Eventually I may release it on DVD or like do a streaming service. But at first, for the first few years, I just, or at least for the first year. So I just want to do this limited edition thing because it's like a full circle thing with my career. My first video, my last.
You can stream it on your Patreon or something cool. Yeah.
Maybe we'll see how that works out. I license legitimate artists and legitimate bands for it. So I have a cool soundtrack, which is great.
Nice.
It's been the longest project because I did it all myself and I had to learn how to license music, how to like do masters and publishing. And I didn't know anything about that. So I had to teach myself that and contacts like, these
labels and
stuff and deal with them. I'd never done anything like that. And I did it all myself.
Who were some of the artists on there? Can you say?
I think like my friend Dana Dentata is on there, who I love. The Soft Moon, who is my my ex-friend and lover who passed away earlier this year of a fentanyl overdose. There's some of his music as well. Yeah, it's tragic. And then I'm not sure who else I can say without getting in trouble. Like I think I can say Boy Harsher. I don't know. I think I did an interview the other day where I said a bunch of them. So I'll probably get in trouble for all of them.
That's awesome though. When's it coming out?
I'm hopefully within the next few months. So we're going to do a second edition of the zine as well and have a big gallery showing probably in January or February.
Awesome.
Is when we're looking at doing it. And then after that, I'm doing a photography book, like a coffee table photography book, high end with a fashion photographer named James Mountford, who's been shooting me for like 8 years.
Nice.
And so we have a collection of these pictures and we're doing this really artsy, really weird book that's about personal transformation and my experience after retiring and becoming the person I am now. And so I don't want to go too much into it without giving it away.
It's okay.
And so I'm doing that. And then after that, I actually wrote a poetry book.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that I'm going to release a poetry book who I have one of my best friends is a artist named Natalie Krim, who's actually the sister of the guy who owns Paperwork. That's how I met her. She does amazing art. She's actually, I believe Josh Brolin, your friend, has bought her art before. I think they're friends.
I'm going to hit him up after this and ask him.
I'm pretty sure they're friends.
That's cool.
And she does this incredible art. So she's going to do the cover for me.
Amazing.
So I've got the coolest friends. I really do. So I'm doing that. And then once all 3 of those are out, probably by the summer, I'm hoping, I can sit down and just write this memoir and just focus on that.
Yeah.
But
it's going to be awesome. I think people are going to love it.
I hope so. It's weird. I've tried writing it for the past like 10 years and it's really hard to write about yourself.
You have a bunch of journals and stuff?
I don't
Okay.
really journal.
Do you start writing, just like quit and stop?
I find it hard to, I just find it really hard to write about myself. I've
Yeah.
thought about getting a ghostwriter and stuff, but like, do I write it first person? Do I write it third person? Do I write it like a diary? Do I write it like, it's just, so I think what I've started doing is I've started recording myself talking about certain stories when
That's
I'm hanging
cool.
out with friends.
That's cool.
And then I'm going to start like just writing out the stories like of my life and then start like compiling it, I guess.
Put all together, yeah.
And then I do have I have a publishing agent already, which is
Nice.
great. So hopefully someone will buy it and give me a big advance.
I'm sure it'll happen.
Because I don't want to self-publish. I'm doing the film myself. I'm
Yeah,
doing the
lot,
photography book
man.
myself. I'm doing the poetry book myself. I'm doing self-publishing, all that. So when it comes to the memoir, I want to hopefully sell it to a big agency or something and
That's awesome.
do a big crazy book tour and stuff.
Yeah, I can see all that happening. Josh Brolin's got a new book. I think you'd like it. It's called From
Really?
Under the Truck. It just came out. Yeah, it's really awesome. It's just like stories of his life. It's like all about.
I love stuff like that. I really like reading
It's
about.
a memoir. Yeah.
I like reading about people's lives and their personal experiences.
Yeah, it's really great. I didn't realize you were one of my son's favorite movies, which is Superbad.
I am.
It's fucking. I told him that today. He's like, "What? I gotta see her." It's his favorite movie, dude. Yeah,
It's such a good movie.
that's so cool. You're in there. That's a
Yeah.
legendary, amazing movie. How'd that happen?
Sony reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're looking for an adult film star to play in this little role in this film."
This
And
little role in this little film. Yeah.
The film is big. My role is little.
Yeah.
So I play one of the Vagtastic Voyage girls. And so when the guys are talking about like the wild weekend that they had and they
Yeah.
flash back to like this weekend and they're like watching porn on the computer and
Okay.
on the couch and like they've got snacks and stuff everywhere. They're having
Yeah.
like a dude's night in or whatever. And I'm the girl on the computer screen doing the scene.
Ah.
And then if you actually buy the DVD, there's a 1 to 2 minute deleted scene called the Vagtastic Voyage scene on the DVD and the special bonuses. And that actually has a little bit more like acting of me and the other girl and the guy picking us up in the van and
Oh, that's cool.
all this stuff. Because it was a spoof on like Bang Bus, right?
Okay.
Where like there was like a type of porn where it was all set up, of course, where guys would drive around in this van and then they would like pick up girls and get them to come in the van and have sex with them.
Gotcha.
So it was a spoof on that kind of, but it was really cool because I got to go to the premiere.
Oh, that's amazing.
Where I sat next to the directors in the movie and stuff,
Wow.
and I got to meet all the cast
Jonah
and
Hill and
everything.
the other guys in there. That's cool, man.
Jonah Hill and
The other kid's great. I think it's
McLovin, dude.
incredible, man. McLovin, dude.
And and I got to meet, the best part was at the premiere, I got to meet at the after party, I got to meet Edward Norton, who was incredibly nice to me, and I was very starstruck.
I love him.
It's one of only 2 times in my whole life I've been starstruck. The other time
He's a
was
handsome, amazing actor, man.
oh, he's just
Fight Club.
American History
X.
X, which was a horrific movie, but
Horrific.
well done, but horrific.
His character was so scary. Yeah.
So terrifying.
He's
His
such a
body
good-
was so good, though.
Yeah.
His body was so good.
He was nice.
He was so nice.
Yeah.
He was so like I don't know. He was just really polite and really kind.
Where'd you get starstruck from? Who else?
When I was at I was at a little restaurant in Sherman Oaks and I went into the bathroom and it was I went to go to the bathroom. It was a 1-stall bathroom, so the door was locked, and so I tried to go in, but it was locked. So then I just waited, and then out of the bathroom walked Gwen Stefani right in front of me, and I just went. Because it's the first concert I ever went to was No Doubt. I grew up in Orange County. Like she was like one of my idols growing up.
Icon.
So I was just like, and I just couldn't say anything. Like I just like, and then she walked out on the patio and she was there with Gavin and one of her kids, and I didn't even like.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was Hugo's actually. It was Hugo's.
I know Hugo's. Yeah.
It was at Hugo's.
Damn. That's the second time?
Yeah, those are the only 2 times I've ever been really starstruck in my life. Although if I meet Madonna ever, I will be starstruck.
Oh, dude.
I will play it off really cool though.
I met her twice. I'm gonna tell you about it.
I am
after the
so
podcast.
jealous. Okay, so I have so many friends who are friends with her. Like,
Oh, really?
I do. Like, I am friends with a bunch of like musical artists. Like, I'm friends with Mike Dean, who's one of her producers,
Okay.
music producers. His wife is a good friend of mine. And then I'm friends with, shout out Mike Dean, you're awesome. Keep killing it. And then like I'm friends with Taylor Momsen, who actually modeled for her clothing line back in the day.
Damn.
Like I have like all these friends who like know her.
You
And
live
I'm just
vicariously
like,
through their stories. Yeah.
I was like, when can I meet her? You know, Questlove got me tickets to her last concert because I'm friends with him.
Questlove?
Yeah, Questlove's a friend of mine.
That's
He's so
amazing.
cool.
I love the
know.
roots. Love the
I have
roots.
the coolest friends.
How do you know
very
Questlove?
blessed.
That's the most randomest shit I've ever heard.
We are friends from the internet.
Wow.
Actually, from like Instagram. He actually helped me get me verified.
What the
and
fuck?
So yeah, we're friends. And he
Does he know your work? Does he know who you are? Okay,
of
okay, okay.
course. He's really supportive of people in the adult industry. He's friends with a lot of girls in the industry.
Oh,
He's very
shout out to
cool.
Quest
And he's
fucking
super
love.
respectful and he's super kind and super like, yeah, no judgment from him ever. Like,
This is so.
He's one of the nicest
This is my
guys
best
I've
takeaway
met.
from this whole conversation. You and Questlove friends. He got you verified.
And he got me tickets to the Madonna concert
Jesus
this year,
Christ,
which was
that's
crazy.
so
Thank you,
cool.
Questlove. Second row seats.
Damn.
I know, he hooked it up. I am very blessed. I'm very grateful and very lucky for the
I
experiences
love the
that I
Roots
had.
so much too.
I know, so good, right?
Yeah.
So good.
Are you a
But
hip hop fan too?
I like some, yeah.
Yeah.
My music taste is kind of diverse. I can listen to everything from like Fiona Apple to like
I saw your poster.
Nirvana to.
You love The Cure.
I love sad music, and I'm really getting into like the kind of dark wave electronic kind of music that's like getting very popular the last
You
few
heard
years.
of Cold Cave?
I have, but I don't think I've heard much of their
Okay.
stuff.
Black Audio.
I don't know Black Audio.
That's Davey from AFI's band.
Oh, okay. I know him because
Think
I
him-
follow him. Havoc, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram.
The new Cure record's super emo.
It's so good. It's so
so-
good though. I like sad stuff. I like stuff that makes me feel like
Emotion.
Emotion. Yeah, I think life is sad.
Mm.
You know, and I think if you don't recognize the sadness in life, you can't really appreciate the happiness in life.
That's a great point.
You know.
Did you see Cure on the last tour?
I didn't. I've only
So
seen them
good.
once at Coachella in 2003 or 2004 or 5 or something when they played. I went to Coachella. First time I went to Coachella, I went there just to see The Cure, and then I left
Yeah.
because I was like, I have to see them.
I did it for No Doubt last year. I went to their first show back and left. Saw them and left. Yeah.
They're one of the bands I've seen the most, actually. I've seen them probably 5 or 6 times. Madonna, I've seen 7. Deftones, I've seen a
Hello,
bunch of
Deftones.
times.
That's my boy Chino. He listens
I
to.
know, Chino. I was in the studio
He
visiting
listens.
one time.
He listens to
when they
every
were-
episode of this podcast. Every episode.
Really? Okay, hi, Chino.
Love you, Chino.
Haven't seen you in a while, you know.
That's
my
amazing.
One of my ex-boyfriends is good friends with him. So
That's
like
my brother, man. He's the best, dude.
yeah, he is really great. And I love the Deftones. I used to strip to them all the time and stuff.
Oh
so
my God.
yeah.
How about
And
Crosses?
I'm friends with Fred, who's their bassist.
Oh shit. Okay.
I have the coolest. I'm telling you, I feel like I'm just name dropping at
It's
this
okay.
point.
No, it's okay.
But I'm also trying to promote these people because they're awesome people.
Chino's the fucking best. How about Crosses? You like Crosses?
I haven't listened to much of them, but
You
I've
like
been
that.
to a show. I've been to a show once years ago.
They're really good.
I'm pretty sure I went to a show.
And we
years
went
ago.
to Juliette Lewis. I met you at Juliette Lewis show. You got to meet
well,
Juliette?
you hooked me up with the Juliette Lewis backstage
She's
stuff.
the best.
I did
dude.
buy the ticket though. I did buy the ticket.
No, you're a
to see.
supporter. You love. She's the best
But
though.
I know, and you introduced me to her, and I was a little starstruck at that
You
moment
were?
for a moment. Yeah, because I grew up watching Natural Born Killers. Like
Best.
that was one of my favorite movies in the '90s, and so
Best. You
and
ever
now
seen
I'm
Cal-
obsessed with Yellow Jackets.
It's great.
It's so good.
Yellow
I'm
Jackets is so
dying
good.
for the next season.
What else you watching?
Like, let's see. I feel like I put on so many shows and I put them on in the background sometimes while I'm doing work on the computer.
Yellow Jackets.
So some I
good.
don't really watch, but I love Yellow Jackets. I really like that show C with Jason Momoa.
Heard about that.
It was good. I watch like almost everything. If you say a show, I'll be like, oh, I love that, or oh, I don't.
Did you
love
watch
that.
the Menendez brothers one?
I haven't watched that yet. No.
Shit's dark, man.
Yeah, I did just watch the Christspiracy documentary, though,
great.
which was so good. I think that's actually
Great.
my favorite of the 3 Spiracy
It's
ones.
so good. I wish everybody would see that freaking doc, man. It's really amazing.
As a person who's always been, I believe in spirituality. I believe in like, you know, having a connection with the universe or God or whatever. All
Yeah.
of that's amazing for, you know, whatever works for you as an individual. But
I
I think
agree.
religious, organized religion is very corrupt. And I think I've always felt that way, even when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, my parents told me that I could pick what I wanted to be religious wise when I turned 12. And my mom was Catholic. My dad was Christian. And so I said, I don't want to be any of these things. I think they're all nuts. Like, I think they're all like, and I guess I just had like a sense from a young age that there's something not right with this, you know. And the more that I've studied religion, I took a women in religion class in college, watching that movie, Christspiracy.
Dude.
Like, I'm like, I was so right, you know,
It's
and all the stuff that's
crazy.
come out about the Catholic Church in recent years and things like that. Like, so
Thank you, Sinead O'Connor, as well for that.
So yeah, so I think that there's like, you know, I think
That
being
connection with
spiritual is
killing
great,
animals
but
is so
I
fucking
know.
I had Brolin watch it, who's not a vegan, and him and his wife watch it, and his wife became vegan that day.
Yeah.
And she's been vegan since.
Yeah.
And just that connection is so fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about it. It's in the Bible.
Nobody talks about it. I know.
It's so crazy.
I
man.
know.
It
I
makes me
know.
angry. I wish people would see all that shit.
That was
you know?
that was my favorite one out of all of the vegan documentaries I think I've
Yeah.
watched, actually.
That one's beyond veganism. That one's just fucking crazy.
It's
man.
crazy. Because it also talks about, you know, like world organization type stuff
Yeah,
and
man.
like societal like methods of control pretty much and domination of religion, and how it's like has its little fingers in all sorts of aspects of our lives and controlling the way that we interact with the world.
It's all about money so much.
It's all about money. It's all about money. And that's what I realized at a young age too. I was like, it's all about money, right? Because I always just thought it was weird that when I went to church, they would just ask me for money.
Yeah.
And they'd pass around and I was like, why are you asking me for money? I don't think God would like want me to give him money.
Totally.
Like he would want me to take care of myself, right?
Yeah. It's crazy how some people's God's like, well, my God says I shouldn't like gay people. Well, my God says thou shalt not kill. My God said it's okay to eat animals. It's like, is there just one God for these people? Or like they take something from that just goes for, it's so interesting how people pick and choose what is religion to them, even though whatever God there is, like he loved animals and humans and all types of people.
And sex workers.
Yeah, everything. No judgment.
And drug addicts.
No judgment.
And lepers.
Do you know what I'm saying though? It's just crazy how people are so like, and then use that as the reason. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, well they also turn it into a vehicle for hate.
Yes.
You know, and that's why another reason I'm just not really into organized religion.
Me either. There's something up there.
But I believe, there's something. There's absolutely, you call it energy, you can call it, universe, you can call it anything like that. I don't believe there's some
Mother Nature,
male sky god up there that's like dictating everything we do. But I innately know that there's something that connects everything. There's something that connects us all too. You know,
So I feel my dad's presence, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, after my mom passed away, she came to me in a dream.
See?
Yeah.
See, that shit's real.
She came to me in a dream because I was so distraught about her death, you know, and I was just so worried, like if she was okay when she passed, because I wasn't able to be there with her. And then I was like really upset. And then a couple days after she passed, I had a dream and she came to me in the dream. And it was the most vivid dream I've ever had to this day in my entire life. I could smell her skin. I could feel the texture of her skin in my dream.
Wow.
And and she assured me that she was okay and that everything was good.
How did she pass? What was it?
My mom was very sick. So my mom dealt with a lot of health issues. She wasn't a very healthy individual, which is why I work out and I'm really healthy and I don't do like drugs other than marijuana and like, you know, I don't drink. I rarely drink.
Did you ever party like crazy?
In my early 20s, when I first got in the adult industry, I was going to crazy clubs and partying with celebrities.
Rockstar style.
So of course I did, you know. But once I got into like my early 30s, I was like, okay, like I really got to start thinking about my health.
Yeah, it's smart.
But watching her, you know, she smoked 4 packs a day. You know,
my mom too.
She used a lot of alcohol to cope with, you know, stressors in her life and things like that. And then she had like multiple strokes and, you know, she was very unhealthy. She was one of the most unhealthy people. God, you know, rest your soul, Mom. But she was one of the most unhealthy. 73. You know, but so it was actually, you know, watching her though not take care of herself, not eat right, not exercise right, you know.
Yeah.
I've done the opposite in my life. I've done the complete opposite. But I had my dad though. My dad was actually was a track star in high school. Wow. You know, actually was a vegetarian for like 10 years at one point.
Nice.
Like is like this more hippie kind of, had like long hair and like my dad's very cool. And he was opposite. When I would go see him, you know, and visit him for my time with him, he would cook me. We would go fishing and make fresh fish and vegetables and like, you know, so I had that influence in my life, you know, where my mom was like McDonald's every night. Pizza Hut, Taco Bell.
Every night.
It's very different. So yeah. So she was very unhealthy. And so I'm glad that she's at peace though, you know, because I think that she was really unhealthy and unhappy. So, but she passed away in the hospital and we weren't able to get there in time. And
wow, where was she? Where in California?
Yeah, in California.
Damn.
So yeah, very sad. It's very strange when your parent dies, right? Isn't it a weird feeling? Yeah. Because then you realize you're next.
You start getting morbid and thinking about like how much time you have.
Because, like,
it is
exactly
crazy.
What happened to me 2 years ago when it happened. I hadn't even thought about how much time I had left really. But then when that happened, I was like, oh man. You know, because your grandparents go and you're like, okay, it's getting closer to me.
I know.
Then your parent goes and you're like, okay, now it's like.
My mom's still here. Yeah.
I'm next in line.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not okay with that.
I know. It is crazy to think about the rest of how many more years you have. Because I'm 54 and I saw something online about.
Wow, you're 54? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at you.
Thank you. I never did drugs or alcohol or anything.
I know you're totally straight edge and sober, which is amazing. Good for you.
Thank you. It's my diet and my lifestyle, I guess, you know?
Yeah, but that's really impressive because there's a lot of peer pressure in the music industry and you're around it constantly and there's writers where they'll get you wherever you want when you're touring. And
totally.
So how did you, I'm going to turn it back around.
Let's go, girl.
how did you was that something you always just felt about just being sober, or
I think after my dad died and my brothers were kind of raising me, my mom was working 3 jobs.
Yeah.
My brothers would have girls in the basement smoking weed, drinking, and I was so scared of my brothers when they were high. I think they kind of scared me straight.
Oh wow.
But then I got into skateboarding, and then I found punk rock because it was kind of it was a soundtrack to my aggressive skateboarding. Found Minor Threat, and at 13 years old, I was like, I heard Straight Edge the song, and I was like, this is me. I'm still cool. I can still skate to this music. I'm a punk. I don't have to do drugs. And just at 13, I was like, I'm never trying drugs.
That's amazing.
It's kind of crazy, man.
I think it's incredibly impressive.
Thank you.
What a strong constitution you have.
Yeah, it's a crazy commitment to make it 13. But it's been around me my whole entire life. Like, I'm the only person who is straight edge in my band. I've been in the band 30 years.
Wow.
Obviously, my son's in the band now. He's never tried anything. But it's been around. My people died of overdoses and all that stuff.
I lost 3 people this year to overdoses.
Wow,
fentanyl.
Wow.
All within 1 week of each other too in January. It was harsh. Yeah, fentanyl laced cocaine.
Damn. Shit's scary.
It's terrifying. I don't know how anyone can do hard drugs nowadays. It's just not what it was. This
crazy.
ain't the 80s anymore, baby.
Yeah. It's just scary. It's a crapshoot. It's crazy. It's always been a crapshoot, but now it's like.
Yeah, but that's really that's amazing. Is your wife straight edge?
Nah.
Okay.
She can't live in the house with me and my son and not have a drink. I'm just kidding. She doesn't drink that much. She has like her 4 roses. You see that on the wall behind me? She likes the liquor on the wall, the 4 roses.
Yes, okay.
She likes that hard shit like that.
Oh, okay.
It's just some Kentucky shit.
See, I don't drink hard alcohol. I haven't had hard alcohol since 2016.
Sure, like
I've had a couple sips here and there where people are like, try my drink. Yeah. And I'll be like, oh, and I'll take a sip. But I don't drink hard alcohol. I just drink wine and champagne.
It's nice.
And I have
keep it mellow.
For 8 years now, over 8 years.
Amazing.
Yeah, it just feels healthier to me. Like hard alcohol is really bad for your body. Like it's literally poison. You know, I've taken substance abuse classes and we've talked about, what these things do to your body now. And yikes, I'm lucky that I survived my early 20s.
What about weed? You do edibles? Like, what's your deal?
I like to smoke joints.
Old school.
All right. I'm a classic joint kind of girl. I
classic.
Really am. But I do want to switch more to edibles just because I feel like it's healthier, and I've been smoking for a long time, and I'm like, it's probably time to I'm getting a little older, trying to make my own brownies or something at home, you know. Probably time to start switching it up a little bit. But
my wife would take edibles to sleep sometimes.
I like edibles.
How's your sleeping?
I don't like edibles. My sleep's great.
Okay.
I have one of those Hatch sunset alarm things with sound, custom sound.
What the fuck is that?
It's amazing.
You gotta send me that shit.
It's amazing. They're having a sale right now too. Look at me promoting these companies.
What does it do?
It's like a sunset. You can set the light and you can set the time so that it wakes you up with a gradual lightning, and you can set the colorings to be specific,
that sounds
custom.
Amazing.
And so I have it set so before I go to bed, I have a reading light for 20 minutes and I read, and then it goes into a piano song to kind of wind me down. And then it goes into this different other kind of music. I don't know how to explain
some
it.
Real zen shit.
Some zen shit, some spa music. And then it goes into campfire cricket sounds. And then I have it, and you can customize this with any variation. They have hundreds and hundreds of different sounds. They have stories that you can go to sleep to.
This is sick.
And then it goes into rain and until I wake up. And then it wakes me up with different sounds. I have Tibetan singing bowls that it wakes me up, wind chimes, birds singing. It's honestly changed my whole sleep.
This makes me want to sleep. This is crazy.
Well, sleep is really important, and how we get our sleep, what we call in the mental health care world is sleep hygiene.
Tell me.
It's super, super important, because if we're not eating right, we're not sleeping right, we're not exercising and getting sunlight and things like that.
Fucks your immune system.
That's going to affect our mental health anyways. And so that's why I didn't go to be a psychiatrist, and I'm going to be a psychologist and a therapist, is because I think a lot of mental health care problems can be at least alleviated or reduced by proper sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
Making sure you're getting exercise, making sure you're eating a balanced diet,
meditation,
getting out in nature, going hiking,
Vitamin
being
D.
Connection with community is so important. And I think that people should take care of all of those things before they turn to let me just pop a pill to make this better.
Absolutely.
Let me just pop a pill to make my depression go away.
So true.
So
diet, exercise, cold showers, all that shit works, man.
So important. It's so important. Yeah. And so I'm more of a holistic kind of therapist, I think, because I always approach things from that perspective rather than being let's put you on a med, or let's get you to a psychiatrist and get you on a med.
Psychiatrists and psychologists, what is the difference?
Psychiatrists can prescribe medication, and that's basically all they do. They don't really sit down. They'll get a background on you. They'll talk to you about what you're going through, but they don't do any process talk therapy, which is more of what a psychologist does. A psychologist will use different modalities like CBT, DBT, ACT, different sorts of structures of types of therapy in order to approach different problems with
Gotcha.
with their clients.
Okay.
So like ACT is acceptance and commitment therapy. It's one of my favorite ones. It talks a lot about like radical acceptance and accepting like that some things cannot be changed and focusing on things that, you know, can be changed.
Yeah,
And then
it's a
like
big
there's
one.
like dialectical behavior therapy, which actually has, it's like CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, but dialectical behavior therapy has a root in almost like Eastern Zen.
Okay.
So there's like a mindfulness component that the entire thing is there. That's their whole foundation is on mindfulness and meditation and like living one mindfully, doing things and really being in that moment, you know, rather than being in your head all the time.
Yeah.
And I really like DBT as well. I like it better than CBT. DBT and ACT are like my jams. But that's what that's what therapists and psychologists use is these tools
Gotcha.
in order to address their clients' concerns in different approaches and different ways. Different things work for like dialectical behavior therapy is like the standard for borderline personality disorder.
Okay.
CBT helps more for like OCD and things like that, you know, and other disorders. And it's all about finding, like as a client, it's about finding what modality works for you or what, you know, as a therapist, and someone who's been studying this for years, I have improved my life so much just by learning these modalities and applying it to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like there's been times where I get stressed out and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, do that skill that's in this, you know,
It's amazing.
in this thing. You got it.
Can you test people for ADD and stuff?
I don't. I haven't done anything like that.
Yeah.
No. But I absolutely have ADHD myself.
Yeah, I want you to tell. I was thinking you could test me sometime for
No,
it.
I absolutely know.
I've been told that my whole life.
Oh, no, I know I have it. And
OCD.
I won't. Oh, yeah. No, I won't.
I don't like to use those terms unless you're really diagnosed because people really have it and they go through a lot of shit with it.
And well, especially with OCD,
Not to
there's a
take
lot
lightly.
of it's one of those things that people kind of just throw it around like,
Throw the word around.
I've got OCD because I like, but no, OCD is actually like a serious thing that people struggle with that really affects their
That's
lives.
why I like to put it out there. But I like to be tested for ADD for sure.
Yeah. Oh no, I absolutely have ADHD, but I won't take any of the meds because I don't like.
I would never take meds.
I don't want to take Adderall. I don't want to take. I don't want to take. It's medicalized methamphetamine. Like
I'm never doing
that's
that.
literally what it is.
I was on Ritalin as a kid for a minute. It didn't make me so like not myself. It was weird.
Yeah, no, I prefer marijuana. Honestly,
Yeah.
I smoke a joint and I can
Chill.
I'll smoke a joint and I'll go into editing pictures for hours. I will become hyper focused
And creative.
Yeah,
Damn. I love it.
I love marijuana.
This is such an amazing hang. I'm so psyched in this conversation,
Really?
man. This is so good. Yeah, it's just fucking. You have so much good energy.
I just feel like I'm hanging out talking to a friend.
I know it's fucking awesome. That's why it's great. What are some of your daily rituals?
I do yoga almost every single day.
I want to try that, and I'm gonna put it out there in the atmosphere. I've been talking about this. I did Bikram once. It was terrible.
Well,
I need to
Bikram's
do yoga.
intense.
It's a horrifying experience.
I just free flow. I'll turn on a TV show or something in the background or put some music on, and then I'll just sit in my living room and just do an hour of free flow yoga.
Is that like basic?
Well, it's just, it's free
I need
flow,
to start
so
at the beginning.
I kind of just do whatever feels good to my body. And I know I've been doing yoga for years, so
Okay.
I know a lot of the poses. So I just I flow through on my own accord. I also do have the Apple Fitness Plus, which has really great yoga classes.
Can you send me? Yeah, I need to start.
And
this
you can
shit,
watch
man.
them on your TV and just put on your TV, and then it syncs with your watch.
I ain't
Which
going
is
to-
great.
I ain't going
so
to watch it.
so
Sorry.
it
but-
tracks. You got to get the watch. It's life changing.
Okay.
And then it syncs into it'll track all your stuff too on here, which is really great.
I need to start yoga bad.
We'll do a yoga class together.
I love it because I'm
someday.
fucking all tight and wound up. I have a PT right now because I have a pinched nerve. All this shit's going on.
Have you ever done like the reflexology stretching thing or anything?
No.
I have a friend who does that. You should go see her.
I also heard about this thing. It's called they stretch the muscle off your bone. It's really painful. My friends have all done it in Orange County. Like 10. I heard it's
so scary that my headphones fall off.
I heard it's so sick. Like they stretch it off and they get the blood flow through. I heard it's really intense.
No, that's a little bit much. I don't do a lot of crazy. I don't go to the gym. I do light weights, like hand weights and like weighted squats, and then like weighted walking lunges. I do those at my house a lot, and I'll do like basic like stuff with light weights just to do
You do some old school
lightweight
aerobic
training.
shit. I can see you doing some 70s shit.
And then I do
80s.
yoga almost every day, and then I do hiking, and that's kind
I
of
love
like
hiking.
the extent. I would like to start running, but I also know that it's bad for your knees.
And I was running for a second, but now I'm doing walks. I love walking. It's so good for you.
Yeah, it's just good to get your body
I
moving.
know.
The more you move, the better it is for yourself.
I'm gonna hit you with a hard question real quick. Do
Okay.
you have any regrets?
Do I have any regrets? I have regrets within my romantic relationship. Like staying with someone longer than I should have stayed with them. That kind of thing. Or
Yeah.
not setting boundaries sooner.
Yeah.
those kinds of things, I think, are the only things that I really regret.
Did you ever want to be married at one point?
I would still maybe like to be, I don't know. I was engaged once in 2016 for like a year. I am a romantic. I do like the idea of having a life partner.
How about kids?
I don't necessarily like the idea of having like a legality thing or having the government involved kind of thing. That kind of bothers me because I don't think it's anybody's business.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the tax cuts that come along with it.
Yeah.
Though. That's kind of cool. But then I also, you know, because I have become more feminist in years and I've studied feminist texts, I do realize that marriage has been used, you know, to subjugate women and to control women and to treat them as property. And so I don't necessarily know that I agree with the origins of marriage.
Not in this house. My wife's the boss in this house.
And it was, well, damn straight she is. Your wife's a badass. She's awesome. But I don't know. I don't think that, I don't think that it's
not for you.
I mean, if I like the romantic aspect.
You love the love.
I love the love about it. But you know, marriage wasn't originally a love thing. It was a property thing. It was a way to transfer property and to build families into being more powerful.
Interesting.
And more rich.
Did not know that.
It was not only in the last 100 years, which actually started with, like, I believe from what I've read in texts, is with like the De Beers like diamond campaign and stuff, has when it started to become like, it was like 120 years ago or something like that, where it started to become romanticized because they started to realize they could like make money off of this and sell like diamonds as being like, you know, you have to have the diamond and you have to have, and then it started to become the idea and the concept of like marriage for love rather than marriage for convenience or marriage for the merging of families or for power and money. Damn. And so I'm very conflicted on it. If I met the right guy, like I romanticize it sometimes. And I'm like, oh, I'd love to have like this, like this is where I would get married. And this is like, but then I also think how much of that is social programming? How much of that is because I watched Disney movies as a kid? How much of that is
rom-coms? How
much of that is because I'm societally conditioned to think that this is what I'm supposed to want?
Yeah, it's true.
And that if I don't have this in my life, I'm missing out.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so
it's a really great point.
I think about it all the time, and one day I'll be like, oh, I do want to get married, and the next day I'll be like, fuck marriage. I never want to do that. I'm no one's property.
Yeah. What about have kids or be a mom?
What
about have kids or be a mom?
If I met the right guy.
Yeah.
That's always been my thing. If I met a guy who I thought would be a good father and I thought we could raise a child together,
I think you'd be a good mom. I think you'd be a good mom.
Oh, thank you. I would like to have a daughter. I don't think I'd like to have a son. Which is also part of the problem, is that you don't get to pick.
I was so scared to have a daughter, to be honest, because I was like, dude, in Los Angeles, like I would have my daughter like, oh my God, I'd be so overprotective.
You'd be so scared, right?
Just having a son growing up in Los Angeles is crazy. Imagine it.
Your son's awesome though.
Thank you. But just the way this social media, what kids are looking at, what they're exposed to.
Yeah.
Like the bullying online, the pressure for girls online.
My niece is having a baby right now. And the other day, after the politics and everything that's going on in the world right now, she's like, what kind of world am I bringing my kid into? It's scary, you know, but do we all just stop having kids because the world is fucked? Like, no.
We're trying to make better people in the world.
Exactly. That's what we have to do. We have to create better people that are more aware, that come at things with compassion and love rather than individualistic power and destruction and
absolutely
selfishness and all of those things that our society is kind of rooted in nowadays.
I know.
Yeah.
What about coffee? You a coffee person?
No, I'm a tea person.
That's amazing. What, green tea?
I drink all kinds of tea. I love Earl Grey.
How about yerba mate?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I like any kind of tea. I have an entire drawer full of different kinds of teas.
Me too.
My favorite tea is throat coat, actually.
Me too. That's for singers. I have that on tour everywhere I fucking go.
I know. When I was dating a musician, he drank it.
I love throat coat.
And then now I drink it. I know Madonna drinks it too, I heard.
She does. I drink this because Andrew Huberman told me it's okay to drink yerba mate because anything caffeinated, I reach out to him about it, but he was drinking yerba mate since he was a young lad with his parents. So that's why I drink yerba mate. It's natural caffeine.
Oh, okay.
But it's crazy caffeine.
I prefer more the green teas and like white teas. I rarely drink black teas.
This is green tea.
Because I'm so sensitive to caffeine.
Me too.
Which is why I can't drink coffee because I get anxiety.
I get jittery, shittery. I get all kinds of shit. I get jittery, shitty. I get fucking dehydrated. I fucking crash.
Dude, it just makes me,
I'm irritable. It gives me anxiety. I'm mean to my wife and my son and them all fucked up.
Yeah, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But I love the way it smells.
I know. Decaf's good though.
Yeah, I guess. I'll just have tea.
What about are you an optimist or pessimist?
It depends on my day.
You seem so positive though. Your energy,
really?
you have infectious positive energy. Yeah, dude.
I have sad days though, you know.
But you're so full of life though.
I have, yeah. I have a good vibe.
You have a good fucking life, girl.
I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky.
You did this. You built this shit yourself.
I did.
Nobody's helped.
I did. But yeah, I think that it depends on the day. It's just like when people ask me if I'm what my religious stance is, and I always say, like, on a good day I'm spiritual, on an average day I'm agnostic, and on a bad day I'm an atheist.
Love this.
It just depends on my day.
You go through it. You like dark emo music too.
I do. Well, because I think I don't really like a lot of happy music.
You like Coldplay?
No.
Okay. I love that. It's one of my favorite bands. I love asking that question.
No.
People either
I don't like Taylor Swift. I don't like a lot of super popular
You like Billie though?
I love Billie.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, that one album of hers is just like so good. I love it.
Plus her platform for the animals and the planet is
exactly.
so fucking real,
and I think
man.
She's beautiful. She did say some negative comments about porn, which I didn't really like and I didn't appreciate, but that's it. But also so did Juliette Lewis, supposedly, I heard.
Okay.
Who I also love and adore and is a friend of yours.
But that's stuff you can't take personal either.
No, I don't take it personally because also these are also people who aren't involved in the industry and they don't have the experience or the understanding of it that I do. You know what I mean? And also, like I say this all the time, like, yeah, obviously there are some terrible aspects of the porn industry, but there's terrible aspects of almost every industry.
Absolutely.
You know, and so for like people to just disregard porn as being like a horrible industry as a whole, I don't think that's accurate because I think I know amazing people in the industry who have thrived. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
You're one of them.
Are there some dark aspects? Have people had bad experiences? Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, I had bad experiences working at freaking Taco Bell.
I know. I love that you say that.
You know what I mean? Like I had a customer throw a burrito at me.
Yeah.
Hit me in the face. Like it was not fun.
That never happened on set to you. No. Yeah.
You know, that never happened on set.
It's true.
I had been sexually harassed at those jobs. You know what I mean? But like, that's the same thing as when people are like, oh my God, all porn stars are like mentally damaged and they're all drug addicts and like they all want to kill themselves and all this stuff, or they all want to end their lives. And
I love that you had a positive experience with
all of these things. Yeah. Well, I mean, there are people who have negative experiences,
I know.
But there's people who have negative experiences being a nurse. There's people who have negative experiences being, you know, a salesperson in a store or, you know, being a teacher or being, you know what I mean? But then there's also the positive sides of it. And I think that's
you loved it and you lived it and you appreciated it.
And I think that's with every walk of life though, too. It's like,
loved your job.
There's people who do cocaine who are doctors and lawyers. There's people who abuse cocaine who are in porn, obviously. Do you know what I mean? There's people there's drug addicts in every walk of life. There's suicidal ideation in every walk of life. Yeah. There's, you know, bad experiences and bad days on the job or abuse in every industry, in my opinion. So, but I hate that like porn in general gets this like negative societal.
But you're here to speak about it and say it. And you're a great representative for it.
Well, and it's been very empowering.
You survived through it. You lived through it. It didn't. You fucking loved it. You fucking killed it. Yeah.
But I think part of the problem is that some of the people who get in the industry aren't people who should be in the industry, or they get in the industry for the wrong reasons. Yeah. They get into it to feed a drug habit, or they're just...
Or had a fucked up childhood, all kinds of stuff like that.
Had a messed up childhood, had, you know, like these things happen to them, or they're trying to support like a deadbeat boyfriend, or they're, you know what I mean?
It's fucking sad.
And so... But I think that the people who get into it because of the love of sex, because of the love of the sexual expression and exploration and the creation of the creativity of the art that is pornography or that is, you know, adult content, those are the people who are doing it for the right reasons, you know, who actually really love it. If you, and like life is short, you should always do something you love. Yeah. Don't waste your time. If you don't like it, like it's fine if something's not for you.
Yeah. You don't miss it, right?
I miss the money.
I'm sure you do get OnlyFans. I'm sure you do good.
I know I do well, but I do miss the crazy money. I miss getting glammed up all the time and taking like beautiful pictures, and I miss like
Well, that's what OnlyFans is for.
Yes, exactly. And I miss the camaraderie on set. I miss that kind of like vibe.
Yeah.
But it's also times change, and you know everything is temporary. Yeah. And that was a time in my life that doesn't exist now. It was beautiful. It was awesome for what it is. If I was in the industry now, I wouldn't have the same experience.
Yeah. What are your goals for your new career? And when does that start? I think it starts soon, you said, right?
Yeah. So I should be starting a job as a psychotherapist soon.
So amazing.
I'm not completely licensed, so I'll be working under someone else's license while I earn my hours in order to be licensed. But
Is it scary to you, like a whole new career?
No, I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
I love that you love it. Yeah.
I do. I love being a therapist.
It's awesome.
I love sitting in there and listening to people tell me all their problems and help them find different ways to approach it. And because I don't tell them what to do. I help lead them to find the answers for themselves.
Yeah.
And
that's a serious job too. It's a serious
and I love seeing the change that I can help create. And not everyone is going to be a good match for every therapist. You know what I mean? But when I find those clients that I really work with, that I love, that I connect with, it's amazing.
So have you been practicing with people?
I have. I've been working in mental health care for 4 years now.
Yeah.
So doing the various jobs that I talked about when I volunteered and stuff. And then in my for my master's, I had 2 different internships where I worked at 2 different facilities doing completely different things.
Yeah, okay.
And then so I'm going to be earning my, like apprenticeship. And then I'm going to be earning my hours. And while I'm earning my hours, I hope to apply to doctoral programs.
Amazing.
And get into a doctoral program and become a clinical psychologist. So I still have
we need this book, man.
I still have 4 or 5 more years left.
Still though, this is such an amazing 2 different lives, man.
Thank you. And it's crazy to do this at my age too, because I'm much older than the students that have been in my classes and things. But
age ain't shit.
Well, it's not. And I made friends with some 20-year-old students, which were really cool. They had no idea how old I was, and when I told them, they were like, "What?"
That's awesome.
Because I show up to school and I wear hoodies and Converse and my hair's in a bun and I have no makeup on and I just look like a college student.
It's amazing.
So they didn't realize, and then when I showed them when I revealed myself to a couple of my college friends,
really,
and told them who I was, they were like, "What?"
Tell me who you were to get past.
No idea.
Wow.
Yeah, only 2 of my college friends know. I think one or 2 of my one of my college friends. I think there's only one that knows.
They had no idea.
Yeah, no idea, and they still don't know.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Unless they listen to this podcast.
Unless they listen to this podcast, and then they're like, "Oh." But you know what? I'm at the point where I'm starting to merge both of my lives. You know what I mean? I'm going to have a private practice in a few years, hopefully, where I'll be working with primarily people in the adult industry, all kinds of types of sex workers, musicians, models, actors, anybody who's kind of been a celebrity I want to work with, because I think that I've been a little bit of a celebrity, and I think that I can understand what that experience is like. Whereas most therapists have no idea what it's like to have a fan base. They have no idea what it's like to be stalked. They don't know what it's like to have these people think that they have this intimate relationship with you when they don't. They don't know the pressures of performing every night and what it's like. And that, because when you perform, and you know this as a musician, you perform, you do these shows, you are on cloud 9, you are on this high that is unbelievable. 100%. But then afterward, that drop. That drop. And I know what that's like, because I've toured, I've done performances on stage. I know. The next day you're like, ugh, you have this inevitable, almost depression that comes
different reality, man.
Yeah. Because you're experiencing this connection with your audience and this high, right? And then you have this low, and
one's fantasy, one's reality.
The average therapist doesn't know what that experience is like. And so I hope to provide services that are unique because of my past time in the spotlight.
There should be a musician person like you doing that for musicians as well.
I mean, I have so many friends in the music industry and in the mainstream industry. Dude. I really want to provide. If I could be like Britney Spears' therapist, that would be my dream. That would be my absolute dream.
She's the number 1 listener. I'm just kidding. That'll be amazing. Yeah, that's really, it's awesome. Man.
But I have all the connections already. I know all the people, So once I'm licensed, I start to, go to events and things and hand out my card, and
so cool. You can make business cards.
Word of mouth through also all of my musician friends.
Absolutely.
To talk about, hey, I know this great therapist. I can't actually work with my friends, unfortunately, but I can work with people I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is
so
great.
Cool.
As long as I'm not their buddy, it's okay.
Yeah, it's great.
It's ethically sound.
ShopJennaHaze.com. That's where people can buy all your stuff.
Yeah, so I have ShopJennaHaze.com, which is my merchandise site where you can buy autographs, posters, all autographed, personalized. Almost everything on there is limited edition. So I only print a certain amount of each item, 50 items of each of these
smart
8x10s. I hand number them. They come with COAs, everything.
So punk rock.
Right now I'm having a 40% off sale with the code gratitude40. So it might just be gratitude though. It's gratitude or gratitude40. I'm not sure. But with that code, you get 40% off your entire purchase. Amazing. I also sell all the outfits that I wore in my movies. So I saved everything I ever wore, all my high heels.
Even from Superbad?
No, but I did sell the outfit that I wore in Crank 2 High Voltage.
Oh, yeah, Crank 2 High Voltage.
I jump on the cop car. I did sell that to a fan. I sold that
Amazing.
outfit. But so I saved everything that I could from my career. And so I've been selling scripts from my adult sets. I've been selling, shoes that I wore in my movies. So if you have a favorite scene of mine, or a favorite appearance that you met me in or something, or you saw me dance in a costume, you can go on shopjennahaze.com and you can actually buy the outfit.
That's incredible, man.
And I'll sign it and everything, and I'll give you pictures of me wearing it signed.
That's really smart.
All of that kind of stuff. So it's been a really cool, fun thing. And I run the entire page myself. I do all like the packing and shipping with my assistant. It's all in-house.
This is very DIY, very punk rock. It's crazy.
I didn't realize I was so punk rock until today.
You are, man. Just like Joanna, man. It's fucking crazy, man.
I didn't realize.
It's just doing it all yourself, believing in yourself, not quitting, just fucking working hard and fucking making a name for yourself and fucking, I don't know, being respected and loved and appreciated. It's awesome,
and
man.
pushing against societal norms for women in this country.
100%, dude. Yeah, that's so punk rock to me. You also Raised by Wolves, too.
Yeah, so that is a indie horror film. I actually have never watched it. I'm sorry, I don't really watch things that I'm in.
Yeah.
But I play an escaped cult leader, escaped cult member, who's being questioned, and they had to it's the only scary thing I've ever been in, and they had to make satanic symbols on my body with fake blood and stuff. It was really intense. Damn. And I loved it. I loved being in scary movies. If I could do more scary movies, that would be a dream.
You could probably do that.
Now I'm kind of on this music video kick. So I did 2 music videos earlier this year. I'm supposed to do another
one.
one.
Which ones?
I did it for a band called Sacred Skin, which is like a 80s dancey kind of band. I really love them. I actually I liked their music, then found out we had mutual friends, then became friends with them, and then they asked me to be in their music videos.
Awesome.
And then in the early 2011 and then 2014, I did music videos for Taylor Momsen's band called The Pretty Reckless.
Nice.
So I did My Medicine and then Messed Up World. And then I'm supposed to do another one in a week or so. So cross your fingers. But I'm kind of going down the route of being a video vixen.
That's so cool. Some 90s,
which I love.
Some 90s, 2000s shit.
I freaking love it.
Yeah,
I love being in music videos and being on set with musicians.
Because you love music.
I'm so into music. Sing? I like to sing, and I actually thought with my ex-boyfriend or my ex-fiance, we were going to do, because he was a musician, we were going to do an EP together. I like to sing. I don't know how great I am.
What about playing instruments? Any instruments?
I don't play any instruments, but I have 2 amazing guitars at my house that I don't know how to play.
You should sing. You should try it. Fuck it.
I should try it. I need a band, man. I need a band.
I'm sure you can find someone to play with.
If I did music, I would be like a Fiona Apple-y type.
That's cool.
I would be like a Mazzy Star, Fiona Apple, very
Fiona Apple's still killing it too.
Oh my God, she's brilliant. I believe that she's truly one of the biggest. She's a poet.
Yeah.
She is not just like a musician. Her lyrics and her songs, the way that she weaves words together and sound is just
incredible.
Just incredible. And when she performs, she's so raw.
She's dropping a new record as of recently, a couple years.
She hasn't put anything out. She put Fetch the Bolt Cutters out was, I think, the last one that she did.
You seen her perform before?
I've seen her perform 3 times.
Nice.
I saw her.
I would love to see her.
I was 3rd row at the Greek Theater, which is my favorite venue.
Damn, Greek Theater's nice.
Oh my God, I love that venue. And I saw her there, and then I saw her at the Walt Disney Concert Hall once, and then I saw her at the Largo, actually.
Damn, it's nice.
And I was she was this far from me, and I was, oh my God, I think she's so talented.
Yeah. Did she live in LA?
I don't know.
She seems like she wouldn't live in LA or something, somewhere in the Midwest or something. I don't know.
I don't know. She's one of my, what I call my musical soulmates.
Yeah.
Because her lyrics just resonate with me so well.
No, she's amazing.
Her and Mazzy Star are my,
It's awesome. You seen Mazzy Star before?
I have. I got to see her at the Sydney Opera House actually in 2018,
That's crazy.
which
That's
was,
cool.
She hadn't done a show for a very long time. And then I saw her at a church here in LA actually too.
It's crazy.
I love her. I think, she cried on stage at the Sydney Opera House, and then I started crying.
I would probably cry too. Somebody cry like that.
She was on stage. It was so beautiful. It was just and there was no cameras. She didn't allow cameras or phones, so nobody had their phones out.
It's like a comedy show.
It was just a really magical moment in my life. I love going to shows.
Me too, man.
I do. It's my favorite thing to go.
I love it, dude. You like comedy shows? You go to comedy?
I like comedy shows, but I think that most comedians tend to punch up or punch down, and they tend to make fun of somebody.
Yeah.
Where I tend to I like dad jokes and puns and silly cheesy things that make me laugh more.
Yeah.
My kind of I like that guy Hassan Minaj. I think he's funny. I like Trevor Noah. I think is funny.
Yeah.
I like what's Mitch Hedberg, like the old comedian who
I don't
does
know
like
that.
he does all the silly. They're just silly jokes, and I just love it. Where no one's being made fun of or hurt. Really, like they're just funny jokes, and I like that more of that wholesome. Surprisingly, that wholesome comedy.
Yeah.
Because I've been to comedy shows. I went and saw like I think Bill Burr or something at like the Largo one. No, it was awful.
Oh, okay.
He started talking about like rape jokes and stuff, and I was just like, I can't. Like,
yeah,
it's a darker humor.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
No, but I do think that people should be able to do whatever comedy they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, just not really my thing.
Are you gonna retire in Australia?
Am I gonna what?
Retire in Australia from life?
I'm supposed to.
I was gonna ask you where you live besides California.
I'm supposed to go there again in a week, but I don't know if I'm gonna actually do it.
I was gonna say, where'd you live besides California? I know it's Australia.
I would love to live in Australia. If I had my dream, I would
both places.
If I had my dream, I would have a place in Australia.
Keep your place here.
I would have a place in LA. I would have a little tiny villa in Italy.
Damn.
In like Tuscany, and then I would have a condo in Hawaii. That is my dream. And then I would live 3 months in each place and go around doing therapy in each location.
I think you make that happen.
I've been actually saying it during.
You get the book deal first.
I've been saying it during interviews, and I've been saying it during like conversations with friends because I'm trying to manifest it.
It's gonna happen.
I'm like, this is what's gonna happen.
Get
like
that book deal advance.
This is
It's gonna happen.
It's all gonna happen because property in Italy is actually not that expensive.
That's what I heard actually.
Property in Australia is, and property in
sense.
Hawaii is very expensive.
Yeah, I love Hawaii too.
I love it.
I'm trying to go there this right next year with my family. Yeah.
Which island do you like?
I don't know. I've been there in years. My son wants to take us. Like, we have to go on a family vacation. So
I've been like 14 times. It's my favorite place. I've
been
to every
my son
island.
About that. Damn.
It's the best.
Which place? Which place you go?
I've been to all the islands.
Okay, I want to talk about the pod.
Yeah, it's
tell
great.
my son about that. She wants to go surfing there and stuff.
Oh, it's great. Well, then if he wants to go to surfing, he should go during the right time of year, during the North Shore on Oahu. That's where all like the big surfing is.
Did you ever surf?
No.
Okay.
I boogie boarded as a kid.
Sick.
But no,
I'm
not really sports inclined. I
Skateboarding,
never have been. No. I have roller skates that I got and I wore in a music video. But
you never played sports? Damn.
No, I did. The one thing I excelled at in school was running.
Yeah,
I was good at running. I was fast. I was very fast.
Track and field or something.
Yeah, my dad, like I said, my dad was a track star, and I'm like,
maybe start running, jogging or shit. Yeah,
I would like to. I bought the running shoes, but I didn't
What'd
like
you get?
them. I bought those ONs, and I didn't like them. I love their hiking shoes. I bought their hiking shoes, and I love their hiking boots.
You call them ONs. I love you. It's called ONs. You're the best.
I don't know. I thought it was ONs.
Which ones you buy? The Cloud Surfs or something?
I don't know which ones I bought. I'll have to show you, but I didn't like them. They made my feet. I tried to wear them recently, actually, and they made my feet feel kind of funny, and I didn't like them.
They feel comfortable? Weird.
They just didn't feel comfortable, which was,
interesting.
I know.
I need to find out what kind you got.
Because I like their socks. The socks that I got.
Did you go to the On store in Venice?
Socks. No, I bought them online.
On store is sick. You go try some shit.
Yeah, and just try them on and see which ones work for me. I probably should do that. But I also I'm a woman, so like running alone is like not really. But I do have a lot of like biking trails and stuff in my community, which is really nice. I have a bike. I ride my bike sometimes.
Let's get a fanny pack with some mace in it.
And
a knife.
I have like 4 fanny packs. Okay, I love
with bear mace, all that mace.
I have my favorite one is my Don't Eat the Homies one.
Nice. Shout out to Don't Eat the Homies.
Don't Eat the Homies.
All woman-owned brand, all independent, all DIY. Incredible young ladies are on the podcast. Incredible brand, killing it.
I've even got their license plate on my car outside.
For real?
Yeah.
They just dropped some really new, nice merch too.
I need to check it out.
My son's been modeling for them.
My favorite sweatsuit is from there.
Yeah,
their
so
basic
comfy.
sweatsuit. It's so comfy. I use it every time I get on a plane. That's what I wear on the plane because it's the most comfortable sweatsuit, and it's so thick. It's really all really well made.
I know. And they print it all themselves. It's crazy, dude.
Like, I think that's the thing I was most surprised about is because a lot of these like new brands that pop up and stuff, they're like cheaply made or they fall apart. And like this, I was like, this is really well made.
It's like some Lululemon shit.
It's high end. Love it.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This was so fun. 2.5 hours, man. We killed it.
Wait, that was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I have to get you home because you're the home.
That went by fast.
No, you're so easy to talk to. I knew this was going to be great. You have great energy. We covered your whole fucking life. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, there's no need for the memoir now.
No, you need a memoir for sure. I think that'd be really great. I think it's another chapter of your life.
Funny thing is, I already have a title for it, which I'm not going to say yet. And then I already have the picture for it in the back of the book, but like I haven't written it.
You manifested this shit, but yeah,
I'm gonna manifest.
It'll come out when it comes out. But when it does, I think it'd be a really nice chapter of your life. You know what I mean? Document everything.
I think it'll be cool.
What an incredible journey you've had.
Thank you. My cheeks hurt from smiling so much.
No, but for real, like you did this all on your own. You fucking against the odds, probably with people judging you and all that shit. You just fucking did your thing.
Yeah,
created an empire, soldier empire.
Thanks.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, like, in your world, it's like it's such a different world, but also we're all still connected in some way. We're all,
Okay,
we're
so
not
whenever
different
I'm
from
feeling
others.
insecure, I'm just gonna call you, and you're just gonna.
Or just listen to this podcast.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
listen to the podcast. Listen to all the compliments that Toby's giving me.
No, I think people are really gonna like this.
Yay. Well, you can always see me 24 hours a day at Instagram.com/Jenna Haze. Or on X, I'm at Jenna Haze. Facebook, I'm at The Real Jenna Haze. Or you can just go to my Instagram and click on the Linktree link at the top of my bio, and that has all of my pages, including my TED Talk.
Wow, that was incredible. And if you send her some fucked up DMs, you're going to get blocked. So don't even try.
Instantly blocked. Don't even try.
Instant block.
Be nice. There's no reason to be mean. You're never going to get like good attention with being negative like that.
Nah.
The more positivity you welcome into your life, the more positivity will flourish in your life.
And that's how we end this. This is wonderful.
How we end it.
Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other, and that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swipe the credit card. Don't really tell me much, didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient, and it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life, One Chance podcast is now with Removery. Call 866-934-4570 or go to Removery.com. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. US, Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art Pico-Way laser technology. Cryotechnology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, we talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Definitely check out One Life, One Chance podcast, episode 281. I have Carmen Brody, Mike McTurnan, and Dustin Ortle from Removery. And this is over 2-hour conversation. People submitted questions. It's an incredible conversation breaking down the do's, the don'ts, the fears, process, the results, everything you could imagine about getting a tattoo removed. It's all in this podcast. It's an incredible episode. I appreciate them all coming out for it. So check that out if you want to learn more about Removery and what it's like to get a tattoo removed. Once again, go to Removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out.